Yep, I totally just dropped in on them dancing.
You
just 'cause
guys, it's Tuesday. Do you know what that means?
Pop culture.
Pop culture. And
High levels.
High levels. Yep, we're getting a little peaky there, but that's okay because you love it when we come into your ears. I'm Sarah. That's Keith. Tonight we have special guests.
Really? We're not even like 30 seconds into the thing, and that's what you're going to start off with?
Ears? Get into our ears?
No, that's not the way you said it. So, but
what did I say?
Just don't worry about it. Keep introducing the guest.
Well, now you interrupted me. You know what? It's probably better I don't know. Welcome to Popped. You are watching us on Facebook Live at facebook.com/popshow, or you have downloaded us on iTunes, Google Play, or Podbean. Oh, we're also on Stitcher because we're fancy like that.
We are.
You are listening right now to our amazing theme song done by Fingers, F1NG3RS. I got to get better at that. Based out of Richmond, Virginia. And here we are to bring you the best in pop culture, news, TV, video games, movies, and no, that's it. Oh,
no,
comics. Yeah, no comics tonight. But yeah, we talk about a lot of really important stuff. So let's introduce our fabulous guests. Who do we have? Starting with Whitney.
I'm Whitney.
I was just Whitney. You guys, it's Whitney.
Yes.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming.
And you're with us from the Naro.
Yes, from Naro Expanded Video Archival Library.
And you know about Naro podcast listeners because we won't shut up about our shelf that we have.
Not until it's up.
Not until it's up. And it is in April, and we have given way too much thought to it. So.
And next to Whitney is Patrick.
Hi, I'm Patrick C. Taylor, also of Naro Expanded Video Archival Library. Or just Naro Video if you want to not spend half the podcast just saying the name of the nonprofit. Naro Video, for brevity's sake. It's the soul of wit.
And Patrick, you also are involved with another Norfolk institution.
Oh, yeah. I also do quite a bit of improv and sketch over at Push Comedy Theater over in the Neon District.
Awesome. And you've heard about the Push Theater when we did our episode on Hampton Roads pop culture happenings last month?
A month ago, I think, now at this point.
Yeah. So, guess first. What'd you guys do in pop culture this week? Yeah, no, on the spot now. You know you did something. Watched a movie, saw a show.
Oh, I watched Jumanji. Welcome to the Jungle.
What'd you think?
Delightful.
Right?
It was so fun. And I love The Rock. I've also seen Moana probably 15 times.
Sure.
In the past 2
hasn't?
days. Yeah, who hasn't? I have a toddler at home, and I could blame it on her, but my husband and I genuinely love Moana.
It's because Moana's awesome.
Yeah, so we play that a lot.
You're welcome, says Moana.
You're welcome. Yes. What can I say?
Yeah, no, you're welcome.
I have been watching many movies about Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday because we're going to be showing Tombstone at the Naro Cinema on Friday night. So I've been watching the various adaptations.
Good plug.
I just had a few of them on in the store today where it's like they all like, it's weird the various places that they choose to kill Doc Holliday in these movies. Like sometimes he dies at the OK Corral. Sometimes I just watched one where he died before the OK Corral even happened. It's like, well, that's weird.
So where did he actually die?
He died maybe like a year later.
Okay.
Yeah, of tuberculosis, like in a hospital.
Oh, not as glamorous.
No, he was apparently as shocked as anyone that he didn't die with his boots on.
You kind of want, and of course we don't want anybody to go out tragically or anything like that, but, you kind of think that there should be some sort of poetic end to these great people's lives. Stan Lee is 95 and of course he's going to live forever. We can't even wrap our minds around losing Stan Lee. But wouldn't it be great if he would slingshot himself out a window like Spider-Man?
Like die in a sword fight against alien invaders or something like that.
No,
sure.
or somehow save the world, right? Maybe he has an Infinity Stone. I'm just saying. That would be pretty cool.
Maybe Stanley is an Infinity Stone.
Oh my gosh.
My mind just...
Yeah, no, that did it. Wow. Can't wrap my head around that. Keith, what'd you do in pop culture this week?
What did I do? Oh, I started my Marvel movie marathon, speaking of Stanley, actually.
He did. Yep. He put together a giant Lego Hulkbuster.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see it behind Patrick and Whitney can see it because it's behind them.
Oh, I see it. Oh.
You can only see the Lego firehouse between them.
That's
But yeah,
impressive.
It's right behind Whitney there. I put that Lego Hulkbuster together. I posted it on the Facebook page too.
Cool.
but that took me about 4 hours. So I got through Iron Man 1 and The Incredible Hulk. So
one of my coworkers and I, Katie, we work together on Sunday nights, and we've been going through the Marvel films in order.
Yeah.
We thought we were going to make it in time before Infinity War, but then I was off a week and she was off a week, and now I'm like,
oh yeah, you're behind.
You've still got a month, 1 month and 1 week.
I think we might make it to like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 before.
Well,
it depends. I mean, if you played in the store,
it's pretty
right?
close. Yeah,
you guys can play them while you're working. So that's
Yeah.
the big key right there.
Yeah.
Our awesome fan Vanessa is chiming in and said she saw Tomb Raider and said it was pretty good. I did not have high hopes for Tomb Raider.
Okay.
And
I've heard very mixed things.
Yeah, that's
Really?
kind of what I've heard
Yeah.
too.
More on the downtrending negative side. Sorry.
Yeah.
well, you know that Ex Machina
It
chick is
happens.
in it.
Oh God, wasn't she fabulous
She
in
was
that?
so good in Ex
Such a good
Machina.
movie.
That was great.
Well, we can talk about that later.
Yeah,
'Cause
we
that
can.
might be on a certain shelf.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, we can talk about that later. In pop culture this week, I finished Waco, the 6th episode on Paramount Network, which I was highly annoyed that is yet another app I would have to download and pay for. So instead, I bought it on iTunes, and it was really good. I'm sort of a purveyor of like cult leaders and murderers, and I'm one of those weird like murderino types. I know.
Now, is this a fictional retelling
You
or
like
is this
a lot of
documentary
true crime?
series?
I do like true crime. Sorry. I get excited about true crime. I do like true crime. I used to work for Court TV. So it's like, I didn't realize that I had such a huge vested in like interest in it until I worked for them. And then now it's like, ooh, what's up in the legal world? What's going on in Florida? What's Florida man up to today? So,
And then you realize, nope, I want to stay away from Florida.
yeah, no, I'm pretty
It's enough Florida for the day.
pretty content not staying around Florida. Their news gets a little weird, but anyway, yeah, true crime. It was a reenactment of the Waco stuff. Of what actually happened, which was in the 80s.
Yeah.
So I was either not born or a toddler, or an infant. Definitely one of those.
Yeah, I think it was Clinton was president, so it was early 90s.
Early 90s.
Yeah,
oh
unless
yeah,
he
yeah.
got
You're right.
criticized
You're right.
for
So
the handling of that.
So I was a young child, but certainly not old enough to understand what a cult was, or But you don't come out of it
The
feeling.
cults and the aliens, man.
Yeah. You don't come out feeling great about, the government really, but that's a whole other issue. And then,
Oh, Greg! Hey, buddy.
Yeah, just pulled up the comments for everybody. So
Oh, look at me, the treasure trove.
yeah.
For him.
Hey, Greg.
We got some awesome people. Greg usually calls in and does the comic segment, but
about now.
Yeah, about
So,
now, but he's
He's busy watching, obviously.
yeah, well,
Wherever he
priorities.
is.
Be on the show, watch the show. Either way, it's a good time.
It is. I agree. But yeah, this is actually where we normally have Greg, and he usually calls in about his, comic picks for the week, because Wednesday is New Comic Book Wednesday. New stuff comes out, and I spend a lot of money at local heroes.
He did. It's the least he could do.
If you haven't noticed, I'd say a good 50% of the stuff came from Greg. At least the pops and the comics alone came from Greg.
My attic looks a lot like this. It's kind of, our spare room too. My husband kind of took it over. We have every Nintendo PlayStation system,
Nice.
from the original. And yeah, we have just walls of comics, and I want to say like the majority of them came from local heroes.
Yep. Well, he's just one of the many shops out there. So, but that's the one I frequent. Just it's convenient.
It's a lovely
I like Greg, and it's clean.
We
It's
love you,
nice.
Greg.
Yeah, we do love.
You had a great shelf.
we do love local heroes. And
Oh, Greg had a shelf.
Yeah, February.
Local heroes.
really?
Okay. He
Now-
did not promote that at all.
Comic book adaptations.
Yeah.
did it
There are a
good
number
for
of fine ones on there.
See,
Well,
now this
it's-
is going to change some things, because our friend Miles had the shelf that has the shelf now.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and Miles is a good buddy of ours, and we have talked excessively about shelves with him, and he was the one who said, here, he sent us a link to the GoFundMe and everything, and was like, hey, you guys have to get it on this level, because we've got to talk about this for the next 6 months, and basically been the basis
that's
of our
wonderful.
friendship.
Yeah.
So why don't you guys tell us a little bit about the GoFundMe and the Naro, and let's just start with there.
Sure. Well, we had a Kickstarter campaign around August of last
Kickstarter,
year.
my bad, I'm sorry.
Kickstarter campaign where we exceeded our initial goal within 36 hours.
That's awesome.
And reached our stretch goal just in time by the end of the thing to help sustain the store, to be able to build the collection, to be able to do more community outreach. Because in 2016, we qualified as a nonprofit. We essentially transitioned into a nonprofit where the owners went to and said, like, the president and treasurer of the store, and we now have a board of directors. And it's because the video store, it qualifies as like an archival library because it's pretty much every movie you can imagine from the beginning of time or the beginning of movies. Like we have everything from.
You guys have a lot of
when it
stuff.
matters,
So.
the
We
beginning
have
of time.
everything from Edison up until the new Jumanji movie. You know,
Nice.
I
which
like
is
it.
pretty much yes.
Yeah, because that came out today, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. And pretty much, that's pretty much the end of movies. Right there, it's like you're not going to top Jumanji.
You're not
Welcome
gonna
to the
top The
Jungle.
That's
Or
awesome though. So then if you've got everything. You've got somebody who needs to keep their kids entertained.
Oh, yeah.
And then you've got the like deep cut cinephile stuff.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And
Yes,
TV shows too.
We have your Werner Fassbinder.
How many titles are we up to now?
We are. I believe we're up past 43,000 titles.
40,
Holy
and
guacamole.
these are unique titles.
Yes. Yeah. There's also extra copies.
How
but
do you guys
unique
keep
titles.
track of it?
Yeah, seriously, you must have
Is
the
it like
best
a
database in the world.
We are
Spreadsheet?
really good with
We're
the
actually
alphabet.
working on an online database, which
Dewey Decimal
we
System?
hope to have up by the end of the year. We're in the process of figuring out the most efficient way of collecting the information
Yeah.
of all 43,000 titles.
And it's something that we have been working on for over a year.
Yeah.
But with 43,000 titles that you have to go through, it's a
Right.
very daunting process. And we have purchased software now to try and speed that up. And Patrick's been putting in a lot of effort with some other volunteers to really get that going now.
Awesome. So that was help funded with the Kickstarter. What else
Yeah.
was funded with the Kickstarter?
That was,
So the initial goal was 20,000, right?
I believe, 25,000.
25,000.
Yeah.
Sorry. I should remember this. And it was to give us some breathing room so that we could really establish ourselves as a nonprofit, so that we could work on doing programming. We could work on building back up our inventory. We had to make a lot of lean financial decisions over the past several years with the onslaught of streaming services and people just, utilizing things like Redbox.
Yeah.
So we had to make, tough choices on, what we were going to get in terms of new releases, how many copies we were going to get, things that needed to be replaced. And so this allows us to build that inventory back up to really where we feel it should be. Then we succeeded that goal, as Patrick said, in 36 hours, which is amazing.
Yeah, obviously the community loves you.
And Kickstarter recognized it. They promoted it as one of the projects they love, which was not
awesome.
something we had been expecting.
Yeah.
And then we implemented the stretch goal so that we could get money specifically to get the
online
system.
database.
Yes, the online database system up.
That was the focus of the stretch goal.
And also purchase some equipment that we may need in order to really get our programming off the ground.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. So it wasn't really an effort to, keep the lights on situation. Being a nonprofit, we wanted to be able to really set ourselves up in a good position that we could go out into the community and, turn everyone into a cinephile.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you guys trying to get more videos, or are you guys trying to just kind of hold at that 43,000? Are you guys trying to reach that
I can
50,000
tell
mark?
you, essentially, we're a nonprofit in part because we weren't making a profit. And essentially, the kind of business we're doing nowadays covers the basic expenses.
Okay.
But it wasn't covering a dime of the new acquisitions we were getting. And we get a lot of new releases every week. And not just Jumanji, but also new foreign films, new documentaries, and also classics. We're always catching up with the classic films and gaps in our collection. And essentially, we didn't have the funds to do that.
Okay.
I mean, you could keep the video store open without getting new releases in, but that's not going to be sustainable. And so that was a big part of making sure that we're able to cover that kind of shortfall. We're still we've always been very responsible in keeping as low an overhead as we can, which is especially important to me if we were going to have a Kickstarter campaign.
For sure.
That we're careful about how we spend our money, that we're not spending liberally. Yeah. We have to try and find that balance in how many copies we're going to get of the new Star Wars movie, because we want to make sure that people aren't frustrated, that it takes them a month to try and get it. They usually, like, if you have a couple people on the call list, it's like, we should probably get another copy of that.
Yeah. Well, how do you guys determine that? Like, how do you determine how many copies of Jumanji you get versus how many copies of Star Wars?
Heated debates mostly.
Okay. Well, I think
we
just
know
found
a little something about that.
So I think we just found a new direction for the podcast.
Yeah,
When we know something is a really big box office hit, we know that at least for the first month that it's out, there are going to be many people that come up and try to get it. So something like Star Wars, we're going to have more than one copy of.
Right.
Especially, I remember today we had the discussion of, oh, you know what? When the next one comes out, this is going to rent like crazy. So yeah, let's get another copy.
Yeah, and that always happens, you know, with when any of the new Marvel films come out, everyone wants to go back and look at the 500 Marvel movies that came before that.
I don't even know.
Hey, can I check out 20 films at one time?
I mean, as Patrick said this when we were doing all the stuff prior to the show, but he and a coworker are trying to spend their shifts going through all the Marvel films, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, we did that when we first started dating.
and then it was that was what, 3 years ago. So
Yeah.
we hadn't even got. I think we had just gotten to Guardians.
Yeah,
It was
we had
2015, something like
Guardians
that.
was the last
Ant-Man,
movie I
think,
saw
something
before I moved.
Yeah.
No, well, I don't. It doesn't matter. We
Yeah.
can have this conversation later. But yeah, we had just started dating, and he was how many of the Marvel movies had you seen? And I said, Iron Man 3 and Guardians and
Thor.
No, no, I would have remembered if I'd seen Thor because of the
course.
Hemsworth.
Two of those are my favorites.
In my mind, he's here. But anyway, I'd only seen a handful of them, and so we caught up in order.
We caught up in a weekend.
Yeah, we did.
At the time, it was easy to do.
Yeah,
It's amazing because I also watched all of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. during that weekend.
I like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm still holding on. I'm still watching it. So.
Oh man, right after Winter Soldier, when they incorporated that twist into the show, it got incredible.
Oh, it did, and it kind of lulled a little bit in season 3, but season 4 picked it right back up, and I'm enjoying season 5 still.
Oh my God, Patrick, we're gonna have you fill in.
Well, I actually ducked out of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. somewhere around the Ghost Rider arc.
Okay.
I lost a few recordings on my DVR, and I was just like,
gotcha.
nah.
Yeah, see,
Was Nick Cage in it?
Nick Cage shows up a couple times in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Now I have to watch this show.
Wait,
yeah, he shows up right at the same time that Bill Paxton does.
Like Nick Cage, really?
Are
Nick
you
Cage?
serious? Bill Paxton's in it?
Bill Paxton was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
What?
Yeah, Bill Paxton actually was.
Yeah.
My mind's
Nick Cage
blown.
was kind of by proxy.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
You could kind of tell that he shot his stuff against a green screen with nobody else there, and they just incorporated it into the. Yeah.
Because he's a very eccentric actor. He wants to be by himself when he's
I'll
doing
give
his
you.
scenes.
I'll give you 15 minutes, and then I have to shoot another Capital One ad.
Now I have to watch it. I started the first. I watched with S.H.I.E.L.D., right? I started the first 2 or 3 episodes and kind of got lost, and then it moved on without me. But now I'm like, Nick Cage.
Yeah, it took some time to find his feet.
But see, that's the thing. Most
kinda
people
like
watch the
that.
first few episodes and they're like, this is boring. They weren't getting, the crossovers they wanted. And then, like Patrick said, Winter Soldier came in and did that whole S.H.I.E.L.D. Hydra. I should probably say spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched it at this point. I don't know. But that whole blow up.
It's 3 seasons ago.
Yeah, I know. If they,
But they did that twist and then it just kind of blew up and became its own show. They don't even Nick Fury and Maria Hill kind of show up occasionally, but it's rare.
Did we call him Nick Cage? It's Nick Fury.
I meant Nicolas Cage.
Oh, Nicolas Cage. No, Nicolas Cage is not in the movie. Nick Fury.
Oh, see, I thought you were doing a bit. I was rolling with it because it was.
No,
Oh yeah,
I was
Nicolas
talking
Cage. John Turturro shows up.
Nicolas
John
Cage.
Wayne.
Hey, you said Ghost Rider, so I was like, Nicolas Cage
but,
is
no,
in
but
this movie.
seriously,
I
was
see.
Bill Paxton
We're
in
totally
it?
on
Bill
different
Paxton
tracks.
actually was in
Bill
it.
Paxton, who is now no
So
longer
wait,
with
there's
us,
no Nicolas
Correct.
Cage.
was okay. Well, never mind then. If there's no Nicolas Cage,
There was Ghost Rider,
Yeah.
but no Nick Cage.
Okay.
Nick Fury
right?
and Bill Paxton.
But Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson,
Correct.
Was Samuel L. Jackson the show?
Yes.
Not like
Like
Oh, I like
one
that.
episode a season at this point.
Okay.
It's not enough to watch the whole thing, but we're getting off track.
We
But
made that.
not
Yeah, no.
Nicolas Cage.
Okay, we go.
Nick Cave was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Did he sing?
Nick Cage.
See, you kept going with the Nick Cage thing. I thought you were doing a bit, so I just went with it.
Yeah, I genuinely could not. I mean, I never was a big, S.H.I.E.L.D. person, but I'm over here I feel like I would have known if Nick Cage was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I feel like I would have known that too. I'm a huge fan. And
We went down that road for a
I see
while.
where I think Evan called us out on in the comments. And I wasn't paying
he
attention.
did.
Yeah. And if you're listening and you want to be part of this absurdity, don't forget that you can watch us live every Tuesday starting at 8 p.m. on Facebook.
Well, not every Tuesday. We take days off now.
Most Tuesday.
Vanessa Davis, thank you. We would love for you to come visit us.
Yeah. Vanessa is an Atlanta friend, but she is way long overdue for a visit.
Oh,
so
well,
she
and
needs
she
to
has
come
a
up.
Videodrome to go shop
That's
at.
right. She needs
She
to.
does.
We do have Videodrome down in Atlanta. It's pretty awesome. But speaking of awesome, so we have to talk to you guys about the shelf. Because, again, like I said, we've been discussing this for probably longer than is healthy. Now, we have, because of our level of Kickstarter funding, we have a shelf at Naro Expanded Video for the month of April. And we have decided that we are going to break it down into Keith Week, Travis Week, who is one of our regular co-host who's
he was here last week when we talked about it.
Yeah, he was here last week. And then my week. And then the last week is going to be fan picks. Now, what we did earlier this month to sort of get a little gauge of where we should go with this is ask people what their top 5 were. You know, what are your, like I just said, recommend 5 movies. I gave them no context. Tell me what your 5 are. And we went through some of them last week.
Yep. We had Alex chiming in.
Alex, now some of them are watching the show. My buddy Daniel chimed in and gave his favorite 5 and then yelled at me because I didn't mention him in the last podcast. I saw him yesterday and he was like, you never discussed my movies. So...
And I've got Kevin's too, because Kevin was watching
Kevin
last
was
week
like,
too.
yeah, we had
so
a whole
I've got
bunch of
his
people
on
chiming in.
On my phone.
But that was under the, like, it's like a theme thing, right?
Well, yeah.
And then last week we went way down the road of movies that we love that are underrepresented, which of course is a great idea for Naro. But I'm over here like, I want someone to look at my shelf and be like, I want to hang out with her because she's watching like Goodfellas, you know, and striptease. Like, that's like, so I don't know. I don't know what direction to go in.
That's how every staff member curates their own staff shelf.
Really?
You need a few of those touchstones so that
Absolutely.
people know you have good taste, but then the obscurities where it's like, oh, well, I love Pulp Fiction. He loves Pulp Fiction. Oh, what's this one? I've never heard of it. It's that
And
kind
then
of thing.
every now and then, really to I think annoy Tim more than anything, I would turn my shelf into a Michael Bay shelf. The man has
Nice.
2
Like
criterions.
all Transformers.
I've tried to avoid as many of those as possible, actually. But yes,
Bad Boys too.
Armageddon,
Okay.
one of my favorites. That's my sponsored film in the store. I sponsored
Nice.
that title. So for the rest of the store's existence in my life, it will be sponsored by me.
All right.
So how many
Very
staff
happy.
shelves do you guys have in there, like on a regular basis? Minus the Kickstarter
each of us
stuff.
usually has their own shelf.
Okay.
I think
8, 9?
I know there's a couple of employees sharing a shelf because we have more employees than shelves at this point.
I think there's 8 or 9 shelves.
Something like that,
Yeah.
Well, I just found.
And then the top one
Just found my
is,
next job.
is where your shelf will be,
Okay.
right at the top.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's what we did do. I mean, we get 12 to 15, right? That's kind of
At a time.
You can fit, 8 plus 5, 13. You can
13.
fit 13.
Okay,
usually
13.
on a
A good,
shelf at a time.
good number. Not ominous at all. All right.
Lucky. It's a lucky number.
So, oh, look, there's Kevin. He just joined
Second, I was
too.
going to have to be like, can someone out there tell me what 8 plus 5 is?
I like how Evan pointed out it's not Nicolas Cage Ghost
Yes.
Ridey.
Yeah. We got Evan there to keep us honest. So let's ask what people have done so far. So we know Greg has had a shelf. We know our buddy Miles has had a shelf. Are they doing their favorites? Are they doing the obscure stuff? What?
Are there a lot of TV shows, or are they sticking to movies?
Miles
that's what
is
Miles
like all
did.
TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's his blog, right?
Right, yeah.
It's focused on television.
Right.
Yeah. And I like that. I think he has Friday Night Lights up there, which is a series that I love. There's Enlightened. He actually bought a DVD because there was a TV show he loved that
Yeah,
we didn't have.
Clone High, he told us, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know much about this series. Like, I was actually looking up, like, is this a kid's does this
It's
go in
really
the kids
funny.
section? I'm looking into it a little. I was like, oh no, I don't think this goes into the kids section. It's like when Rick and Morty first came off new release and they started to put it in the kids section. I was like, no.
Yeah, that's not one you want to put in there. All right. So, who was January?
Oh, January was Nathan and Elizabeth.
Okay.
Nathan used to work at the video store, and then he and his wife moved to New York City.
All right.
And they had a parenting theme because they just had their first child.
Okay.
Oh,
So
cool.
congratulations to them.
Congratulations.
Nice,
They actually met
congrats.
because of the video store.
That's
Aw.
true. Yeah, and she was working at Fairgrounds.
She was working at Fairgrounds, so he was coming over. She was coming over to get movies. He was going over to get coffee.
It's a get love story.
Aw, bringing
There's
people
hope
together.
for all of you out there.
Bringing people together.
Evan wants to know: has anyone? Well, I guess since we know there's only been 3 months so far, and we know 2 of the 3. So now we know 3 of the 3. If anyone has tried to do a numbered shelf like 7 or 9,
That's a good idea.
There's also 42.
I
don't know what
like
you do
that.
all the way.
I think
you
I
go.
have done that theme on my shelf. Sometimes I come up
You
with
do that on
motifs like that for my shelf.
I like it.
But
Maybe I'll do movie titles that's like make a complete sentence.
Or you could do colors, like anything that has colors in the title, like red, Clockwork Orange.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what.
Yeah, staff members do this kind of things too, just for fun. And then every now and then, Patrick we'll put a theme up there, but it doesn't tell you what the theme is.
So you got to figure it out.
You have to
One
try to
time my
figure
theme
it
was
out.
one where the main characters die at the end of the movie, but I didn't tell anybody that was the theme. I just wanted to be anybody who rents a movie off my shelf to be bummed out when they're done.
So Serenity was there.
And
Anything with
sometimes,
Alan
like-
Tudyk.
American Beauty.
Yeah.
And then sometimes like there's just no rhyme or reason for for the ones that get chosen, but you're trying to figure out what's the theme here, and you can't
Okay.
figure it out.
All right.
Huh. All
Yeah,
right.
there you go.
Well, let's see.
Evan's
So-
adding on 2001 to his oops, that's my phone. To his
Daniel
thing.
says that for our fourth week, because we're gonna, I don't know. Honestly, we would probably come in and rearrange them every day if we could, but we've got to.
Do you guys have any opposition to us coming in
I
and
mean,
hanging
we
out and just
seriously
rearranging the
might
shelf?
do it. Knowing us and our lists, we'd be like, okay, here's my movies. Oh wait, hold on. Oh, I forgot one. There's
Well,
always one.
That's pretty much what happened. We did our list last week, and I've actually pulled it up. If you guys go to popshow.com,
I
we
have not seen this
I
list
looked
yet.
at it a few days ago.
Oh, nice.
And
Thank you.
I'm not going to tell y'all which ones I judged you on.
Do
okay to
it.
judge.
Tell
Yeah,
us.
yeah. Go
No,
for it.
bring it on. Tell us.
All right.
Which,
No.
yeah, come on.
What do we got? Oh, I love
Okay.
Safety Not Guaranteed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that's
I thought it was a really fun
And you have my
selection
second
here.
favorite Batman movie on the list.
Ooh, what's your first favorite one then?
I mean, The Dark Knight, I think, is pretty
Okay,
much...
yeah, no.
But I am such a fan of Batman the Animated Series. Like, I'm
Yeah,
a
who
huge
isn't?
fan
Yeah.
of that series. And Batman Mask of the Phantasm was excellent work on their part.
So this is our list on popshow.com for,
Yeah, and
for
then-
you listeners.
And even like my 5 weren't the same 5 I agreed to when I was on the air. Because even when I was typing it up, I was like, no, I'm going to throw this one. But,
oh, did we
Well,
even mention Be Kind Rewind on the?
we did. Because Kevin brought it up. That's
Oh,
why I
yeah.
put it on there.
I know,
So
that would have been on my list.
We did a screening of that up at Charlie's American Cafe at a benefit we did up there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We
That's
thought
cool.
seriously about having an event for the podcast and just sweeting something, but we haven't decided what we would sweed.
I don't know. There's a lot of good stuff.
I know there's a lot of good stuff.
So but,
Who had the Black Dynamite?
that was Travis.
That was
Oh,
Travis,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Is that one you judged him on?
Oh God, no, we love that. No, I was going to make another plug for the store. So every month we do something called Film School, and we pick some kind of topic or theme, and we choose 25 films that we think are really good representations of that topic, theme, whatever. So this month it's siblings, and we had titles
see
like
that.
A Tale of Two Sisters on there. What else do we have?
Whatever Happened to Baby Jane's up
Yes,
there.
Whatever Happened to Baby
Warrior
Jane.
with Tom Hardy. Other ones.
Yeah,
Twins.
Of course.
Nice.
Yes, and we
Schwarzenegger.
actually did. We had twins on there.
Yeah.
And next month, we're going to be doing martial arts. So right now, staff is trying to compile that, there's 25 films, and Black Dynamite has been mentioned by quite a few staff members.
It is
So
a solid
Awesome.
you
movie.
may see it on there. It'll be half price for the whole month.
Now,
Okay.
Evan suggests that we sweed Be Kind Rewind, which is like Swedeception. Like
Yeah.
we'd be sweeting movies within a sweeted movie. I don't know if I could do that. I'm not that good of an actor. Like to even sweet a movie, much less sweet a movie inside a sweeted movie.
Turtles all the way down.
So does it just? How does that? Yeah, I don't even know how that works. Like, how do we get crappier than sweeted?
I think we go the other way. I think we do a authentic version of Ghostbusters, where you
Now
can't
we're
even tell the
talking.
difference.
Now we're talking.
Actually, Keith could probably do that by himself, playing all the characters.
No, I can't afford a proton pack right now.
We could do Back to the Future. We could
could do
sweed.
Back to
We
the-
could
yeah, we could do
sweed
Back-
Back to the Future.
There is a
easy.
DeLorean around here because I know when you guys had Back to the Future, Naro Cinema had
Oh,
Back to
yeah.
the Future. Someone had brought a DeLorean in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
all
there's also
accurate
a
and
Blues
stuff.
Brothers mobile around the area
Really?
too.
Okay. I knew there was. I know there's.
He used to have one.
Yeah, just a little bit. I actually had a Crown Vic that I wanted to convert into a Bluesmobile. Then I realized how expensive it was. And I was like, all right, time to get rid of the Crown Vic. But I know there's one of the guys, a gentleman up in Newport News, actually owns one of the Bluesmobiles from the second movie, and I got to ride around on that for a day. That was kind of fun.
Oh,
so
that's cool. Well, that might be the person who, when Nero Cinema did Blues Brothers a couple years ago,
okay.
they had the Bluesmobile outside.
nice.
I've seen it around Ghent actually a few times. So I-
Well, this was probably about 10 years ago when I did it, so he easily could have moved to this side of the water. So,
Yeah, I think I saw it on the
Really
Hague
neat.
Bridge, pushing Nazis into the water.
we actually went to Chicago in
Protecting the
July,
locks.
and we thankfully Sarah suffered through it and allowed me to do it. We basically got an Uber and went down to different locations of the Blues Brothers, and one of them was the bridge in the park.
This poor Uber
That's awesome.
sat outside of like this cheesy like suit store that used to be Ray's Music
I
Shop,
think it's like a horrible pawn shop.
but now it's like one of those like stores that sells like polyester suits, so they have bars on the windows, and like Keith goes running around taking all these pictures, and you know that there's people inside of the store that like maybe 3 or 4 times a year they're just like,
Are you on another mission from God?
one of these guys.
Well-
And our poor Uber, and I was like, it's just gonna be a second.
I just
Just a second.
it was fine. And then we went to the park, and then I'm trying to think. Went down to the city hall, and then we went to
past the restaurant.
Yep, the restaurant, the Chez Louis, which is also in Ferris Bueller.
Yeah.
So
We went to some
but,
Ferris Bueller spots too.
you know, you guys mentioned that some people were on there putting it on their shelves that, you know, or at least the staff shelves have something that, you know, everyone kind of likes. Blues Brothers would definitely be one of the ones on my list.
So now I should say that Daniel suggests that we do for the 4th week, instead of pop show fan picks, we do unappreciated movies that everyone should see.
but I feel like we're kind of
And
doing that.
his top
already.
pick would be Calvary with Brendan Gleeson. That is what he would pick.
Well, we could do. I mean, we could do that anyways if that just added on the shelf.
I think what we should do is just do a poll and let people vote all month,
Well-
starting in April. Do a Facebook poll.
Well, okay, yeah,
And just
because
let
we'll
them-
have till the end of the last week in April. 'Cause I know.
Facebook.com/pop show.
Can I set up polls on Facebook?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the whole thing.
All right, I'll have to
Get
figure
with
that
the
out.
times.
All right, I don't-
Well, if you set up a poll for the most underrated movie, don't you have to include the ones that got the least votes as the winners?
Oh,
he's got a point
that
there.
is a really
actually.
good point.
Glad we had him on.
I
He's
know.
very smart.
Don't vote for your favorite.
It's going to be
Most-
the Putney Swope of Facebook polls.
I don't know. I don't think anyone would agree with like my most underrated movies that I love, that are because they're just so dumb that no one loves them because they're so dumb.
Oh, I want to hear.
Challenge accepted.
Right? See, you've opened
Maybe
up.
basketball.
I like basketball.
Come
I
on.
went to saw that with my brother in
It's
the
the
theater.
South Park guys. It's so
You broke.
stupid.
You broke Whitney.
Talk about it.
It's really really dumb.
I just
Very beginning of the vibrant.
Yeah. And,
Yep, we broke Whitney.
and then it came up actually 2 or 3 times this week because I was saying, because we were talking about the show, and I said I can't wait to have the guys from the Naro on because I just know that there's some guy with like a man bun and a beard who like secretly comes in like on the 12th of every month and rents to Wong Fu. Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. And these guys would know it, and I don't want names because I don't want to like put anyone on blast for their Wong Fu habit, because good for you, man. I have
No
a copy.
judging.
Yeah, no, I love that movie. You can't get enough Swayze in drag, and Snipes
you?
in drag.
Ooh,
No.
Snipes was, I thought, as Noxzema,
Yeah,
there's nails.
Noxzema Jackson.
Beautiful. I talk all the time. Actually, my niece really pissed me off recently, and I told her I was taking away all her princess points.
Stripped.
Yes.
All your princess points have been removed. Have you ever seen Tu Wong Fu?
Bits and pieces.
Oh, we're
That's-
gonna make it a night.
We'll add it to the
Swayze
list. We'll
in
add it to the
drag,
list.
like
I wonder if
Wazamo
it's in
in
the
drag.
book.
Oh yeah, we have a book that has bit me in the butt many times that I got for Keith one year. 1,001 Movies to See Before You Die.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think I have that one.
I'm not a purveyor of horror or scary stuff, even the mildly scary stuff. I think, like, I will say Seven is one of my favorite movies, but that is about as thrillery as I get. Like anything beyond that, I'm like, I can't, like, I can't take it. Like all the lights on, like I can't handle it. But that is how I saw Evil Dead
And Cabin in the Woods.
and Cabin of the Woods,
yeah.
which were both, well, okay, I don't know if I'd say Evil Dead was a great movie, but it was a movie. And
I'm gonna turn your mic right off.
I mean, it was,
Turn your mic right
but
off.
like it's like so bad it's good, right? Like, can we just agree with that? Because it's pretty terrible.
I have a copy of the Necronomicon at my house.
I've got a version of Evil Dead that comes in a Necronomicon kit. Yeah, I've got it too.
And then we saw Evil Dead 2 at the
yeah,
Naro,
but we
and and that's where we met our buddy Travis. I know,
Oh.
Ghent, bringing people together.
Now,
I
I made
the
the
Naro
mistake.
bringing people together.
Yeah, the Naro, yeah, for sure.
I made the mistake of watching Evil Dead and then immediately watching Evil Dead 2 right afterwards, not realizing that's practically a remake of Evil
Yeah.
Dead. Yeah, my friends and I just had a movie night, and I was like, this is the same movie with a bigger budget.
Basically. And when did you watch Army of Darkness after that?
I actually saw Army of Darkness first.
Oh, really?
Weirdly,
Okay.
Yeah, my brother showed that to me. And Army of Darkness is kind of the least gross of all of them. It's more like Jason and the Argonauts and really silly. Like, that's the one that I really love.
That's the way I try to describe it. The first one is all horror. The second one's kind of slapstick horror comedy, if that even makes sense. And then the third one is just kind of an action adventure with a little bit of fantasy mixed in.
The third one is Evil Dead 2 minus Evil Dead.
Yeah, basically.
Maybe I'll
It's
do
delightful.
so. Vanessa is chiming in. She says more legs than a bucket of chicken, which I appreciate. More Wong Fu references. And she's throwing in these other like totally absurd movies that you kind of have to love. Super Troopers, Beer Fest. Okay, I have a very specific request. Can I get Showgirls, the VH1 edited version?
The VH1 edited version?
Yeah, have you ever seen it?
I have not seen
It's horrible.
No.
So it's a horrible movie anyway. It's objectively terrible because it's got Elizabeth
Or
Berkley
the
and
greatest movie of all time.
no, it's awesome, and I've seen it probably a million times. I think I read an article that saying that like it's got like this really like it's horrible, but it's constantly like in the top DVD sales on Amazon because it's like such a guilty pleasure movie. But anyway, the VH1 version like airbrushed totally fake bras on them and Elizabeth Berkley, because it's all like topless, right? So they have these like weird little airbrush bras, and Elizabeth Berkley refused to come in and dub over the lines to blur out the cursing, so it's like so obviously another woman, and she'll when she'll say like, go F yourself.
McLaughlin do it.
Yeah, and it'll be like, control yourself, and it's like so obviously not her. So that would be the version that I would want on my shelf. But it has
I think you might just have to record that
Should have gotten
yourself.
Tori from Saved by the Bell to do the dubbing.
I know. Oh my gosh, that would be like the final slap in the face. Tori, man, that weird forgotten year.
Weird Tori season.
I know.
Like, where does this fall in the chronology? Didn't you guys? How many senior years do you have?
No, they graduated twice.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, they were in community college for 6 years, so I mean, kind of stretched out as well.
No, community.
Yeah, community.
Oh, yeah.
Community. I was thinking
You
other
jumped
school.
sitcoms on me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with
Well,
you.
I figure while we're talking school sitcoms.
I could totally dedicate my shelf to guilty pleasures.
Good.
I could.
That was a lot of my shelf when
Yeah.
I worked there regularly. When I had my shelf, rest in peace. A lot of it was guilty pleasures, and a lot of it was Tim shaking his head at me like, "Really, Whitney? I thought we had higher standards."
Nice. No, that's okay though. Because there's something for everybody, and you need a place where you can go rent to Wong Fu on the 12th of every month if that's your thing, and you
Naro
won't be
video.
and you won't be judged.
We never judge.
I'm not
To
sure
your
we could have gotten
face.
an archival library
Kidding.
status without Tu Wong Fu. Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar.
Oh no, yeah, it's
I
legendary.
think they pretty much just walked in, checked for that movie, and were like, "All right, stamped it."
It's a great story of the underdogs and bringing a community together. It's a beautiful story. It's weird just like that.
I feel similar about Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen that one.
It's arguably Tuong Fu is the U.S. remake of that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
But it's very similar premise, extremely
That has
similar.
Guy
premise.
Pearce and Hugo Weaving
Yes.
and Terrence Stamp
Yeah, I
as
can
the
remember
Oh.
the third one.
as the three
It's all solid
drag
right there.
queens.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can dig it.
So you could also take that as sort of one click to either direction and say movies so bad they're good.
Yeah. Travis loves those.
Travis does love those. We can add on that list
Yeah.
the Room.
Yeah.
Let's see other movies
Where we actually with Naro Cinema, where we first saw The Room.
where we first
Actually,
saw- we had never seen it, and
We
we had
did a narrow-minded screening
What,
of
you
that
saw
last
it there
year.
for the first time? The one that was just a few months ago?
Yeah.
That was your first time seeing
first
it?
time.
it was before
Oh,
the
wow.
Disaster Artist came out,
That's
so it was
such an
probably like 6 months
experience.
ago.
That was your first
It
time and you
was.
saw it on the big screen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you
I'm
kinda
so,
have to see
I'm
it with
so
that
glad
kinda
we did
crowd.
because we've got friends who saw it like just in their living room, and they were like, "This is terrible," and we're like, "Yeah, no, it is."
No,
Yeah,
it
you have
is.
to see it with people because you have to be able to share in that, like, what are we watching? Kind of.
Yeah, the first time I saw it, I had heard about The Room obviously for years, and this crazy movie, and I watched it and I was like, what the hell did I just watch? Like, I couldn't figure out what was funny about it, what was supposed to be so entertaining, and then you think about it, you reflect on it, you watch it again because you have to,
Of course.
and then you're just like, the sheer absurdity of everything just works, and seeing it at the cinema was such a great experience.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. It was
We
a
all
blast.
really
brought
enjoyed it.
spoons.
We
Oh, we had
So
so
many
many spoons. I was like
spoons.
pulling spoons out of like my shirt, like my hair. Oh, Mommy Dearest. That would
Love
be
Mommy Dearest.
Movies so bad they're good. Have you seen it?
Love that
I've heard
movie.
pl-
Faye
I've heard
Dunaway,
plen-
Joan
I've heard
Foster.
plenty about it, though.
No
so.
wire hangers. Yeah,
Yeah.
no. Mommy Dearest, totally on the list.
Okay. So do we want to get into actually what our final selections are?
I didn't do mine. I still haven't decided. I don't even
that's
know.
the whole point of the night.
I don't even know my genre.
Well, I'm picking a little bit of everything.
Okay.
So
All right.
So far, I've got 7. Blues Brothers, Baby Driver, classics that people kind of know. They're kind of actually similar when you think about it. Movies driven by lots of driving and music synced up to the driving, essentially. So, all right, one trick pony there. But mentioned it last week. Moon, Be Kind Rewind, Bubba Hotep, Emperor's New Groove, because I've got to continue Miles' streak on that.
Why do we even have that lever?
Exactly. And Robot and Frank so far. So I need 3 more movies kind of in that eccentric or just my favorite, because hang on, let me see my all-time top 10 list here, see what I can pull
He has
from.
so many lists, you guys.
I do.
I'm
And
just
I've got-
curious. Have you seen Swiss Army Man?
No.
See Swiss Army Man.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Yeah, I
was
think
really
based on the
good.
kind of movies you like, I think
All
you'll
right.
dig that.
Well, here, let me add this here, Swiss Army Man, while I'm doing my notes.
Cable Guy. It's on my list. Not really. So bad it's good though. Cable
Well,
Guy.
you're going to have to start
Well,
deciding on this
I
list, putting something
purposefully
together.
Put myself in the 3rd week, so I've got some time.
I think Judd Apatow working on that screenplay. That was early days for Judd Apatow.
Really?
Yeah.
For Cable
Okay.
Guy?
Cable Guy. Yeah.
Interesting. I can see that. So, all-time top 10 movies for me, which,
Jack and Jill.
I haven't seen Jack and Jill.
No,
Is it
neither
the-
have I.
Is
Because
it
it's
the
got,
Adam Sandler?
yeah, but it's got to
Oh.
be great.
No.
Oh God.
No, let's not.
Does Naro even have it?
That's
No,
in the so
we-
bad
we
I haven't seen
do.
it category.
That might be in Colt and Turkeys, I would hope.
Just bad.
What's it in?
Not
Hold on,
good.
what's it in?
Oh, we have a section that's called Colt and Turkeys.
Okay, what else is in it besides Jack and Jill? Like, what kind of movies
There's the
would
movies that are
Mommy
cult
Dearest.
classics.
Okay. Mommy
is
Dearest
there,
is
Donnie
in that.
Darko's there, Boondock
Okay.
Saints is there,
Right.
Wet Hot American Summer's there, but also
Lebowski?
stuff like
that's
Lebowski
in the
is in
Coen
the Coen
brothers.
Oh, okay.
But otherwise,
that's
it
right,
would-
because you guys
it
have
would
that whole.
definitely qualify.
Yeah.
But you also
Sharknado.
have Sharknado.
Sharknado is there,
Yeah.
yes.
The Room is in there. Troll
Yes.
2 is in there. Showgirls.
Toxic
How
Avenger.
many genres do you guys like? How many sections do you guys have in the Naro?
We have over 400 unique sections. and
Okay.
so, yeah.
because you guys have it done by like director,
Yeah.
by
I
writer,
think we have
by
over
the
100
genres.
directors, for instance.
Oh, what's that movie where like mummies come from Mars or something? It was on the what's the show with the little aliens that watch all
Mystery
the movies?
Science Theater
Yeah, it was
3000?
on that show.
That's in the cult section too, actually.
we have
Okay.
we have a lot of
All
conversations
the
that
Mystery
start with
Science
me
Theater.
like, what's the movie with the guy who does the
Yeah,
thing?
this is why I'm here. Basically, a Sarah translator.
Plan 9.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
we have
yeah,
an
yeah.
Ed Wood section.
Nice.
Okay, I can
nice.
see that.
Okay.
So
All
we
right.
have that and was that a Mystery Science Theater?
I think they've done a riff tracks of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. All right, so my top 10 all-time movies: Blues Brothers, Ninja Turtles, the first one, Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, Who Framed Roger
Pre-penalized.
Rabbit, That Thing You Do, Muppet Movie, Avengers, Serenity, Incredibles, and Wreck-It Ralph.
I would
So
say you have to put Serenity on there. Because that's one of my favorites.
it's really good. Like, should I put Serenity or should I put the TV show on there? Should I put Firefly? Because it's a one season
I mean, would you
set.
recommend anyone jump into Serenity without having seen Firefly?
I actually saw Serenity first, so
Actually, I did
But
too.
I did not. So again, when we had first started dating, have to watch Firefly.
so much education. That
I know.
happened at the
I
beginning of this
received a lot of
relationship.
education the first year of our relationship. So we watched the whole season of Firefly, and then we timed it. Well, Keith timed it. I had no idea what was going on. He timed it up until the Naro showing
Right.
of Serenity. And we walk in, and then he immediately turns me around and walks me out because
Mikey Mason was playing the "She Don't Like Firefly" song that gives away the whole death at the end of that movie. So I was like, nope, we got to walk right back
so
out.
like we walk in and it was like do and then walk right back out, and I had to stand on the sidewalk until he was done with his Serenity song. So we're there with Keith and one of his buddies and everybody else, And I was probably the only person in the theater who had never seen it. So I did not know.
You had seen the show.
I had seen the show. So I was invested in these characters. I knew who they were. I knew what their relationships were.
Oh, God.
And then we get to that scene, which is, okay, I'm sorry, Internet, if you don't know that Wash
The
dies.
scene.
Yeah,
The
we get to
scene.
the scene. And I'm like,
And you're just like, oh, like a leaf on the wind. How sweet.
and
Oh,
like, I know. and Keith and Dean are looking at me like just waiting. And I totally melted down. And everybody else, we're in the balcony, and everybody
the
else in
whole
the
audience turned the other way just to watch you watch the scene.
yeah, that's exactly what it was. Like everybody else in the balcony was like, "Oh, she's never seen it." Like they couldn't believe it. Yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
Also, this is another fun Naro story. We have all kinds of fun Naro stories. We saw Arrival because the Naro Theater does such a great job about showing Oscar nominees every year. And last year, Arrival was nominated, and we had not seen it, but we wanted to, so we went to see it at the Naro. And have you guys seen Arrival?
Yes.
So, it's got this, it's so well developed, and, with these aliens and this incredible, like, story and
The language.
yeah,
Just
the language,
everything they
and
created
it's
for
just
it.
like, it was absolutely mind-blowing and so well thought out. And then they get to the last line, or not the last line, but at the end when Hawkeye...
Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner. Hawkeye
Hawkeye or hot guy?
Hawkeye.
Both.
Well, yeah. Hawkeye says to Lois Lane, of all the things I've seen, you're the most amazing, or something like whatever it was.
All the
It
stuff we've done in like the
it
past
was-
48 hours,
it was
you've been the most
super
amazing part of
cheesy,
it.
right? But of course, they have to kind of put that in to nail down that element of it. And like Keith and I both go, and like we're the only two people in the theater who said that, and like everyone turns and looks at us, and we're like,
kinda
who
awkward.
said that? That's weird.
I had a moment like that at the Cowboy Bebop movie. Have you guys watched Cowboy Bebop?
I watched bits and pieces of the show.
Yeah, there's something that happened at the end of the movie that I don't realize at the end of every episode they'd have like something happen and have like a rhetorical question or something like that, and it was like, is the world you're living in really real? And I shout out, no, it's not. And the people, I was with my girlfriend and her friends who were really into Cowboy Bebop, and they all just glared at me. She did not forgive me for a while.
Yeah.
We didn't have a good night that night. I was like, I thought that was a good.
So do you remember Meet Joe Black?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So
I remember seeing that one in theaters.
Yeah, I did too. I
don't think I've seen it since.
Yeah, I can't say that I have either. But, there's a scene where Brad Pitt, death takes his body, right? So he's walking, and they're having this cute little flirtatious moment. And then he walks right into traffic and gets very dramatically hit by a car.
Yes.
So naturally, I burst out laughing.
To be fair, wasn't that done for comedic effect? 'Cause,
Well, I thought
I
so.
think I laughed at the time too, and that's one of the only things I really remember from the movie. It's just like all of a sudden hit by a bus.
But nobody else seemed to think it was funny.
I mean, it's hard
At the
to.
screening I was in, so I was very loudly, inappropriately laughing, and everybody else was like, and I was like,
You monster.
I mean, come on.
How could you not?
Brad Pitt hit by a bus. It's kind of funny. Vanessa likes Hawkeye. I'll have to remember that one. Hawkeye and Lois Lane.
All right. Well, after going down my top 10 list, I added Serenity.
What if he's been hot guy the whole
He
time?
might have been.
That's the big twist in Infinity War.
Yeah, that's why we haven't seen him in the poster.
He's not in the poster or the trailer so far.
they've
so-
renamed him. He's now Hot Guy. That would explain a lot.
Or he's just become full on born in this movie.
Keith oh yeah, he was born for a little while, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Keith thinks that Hawkeye/Hot Guy has been absent in Infinity War, like promos, because he's going to be the big hero.
I feel like he's going to deliver the kill shot. Or, although rewatching the movies now, and I've gone through Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, and Iron Man 2 so far. I haven't gotten to Thor yet. So I'm still in phase 1. I kind of hope Tony Stark's... remember the robots that he had in Iron Man 1 and 2 that were there for comedic relief?
Yeah.
Spilling things and spraying the fire extinguisher on them? I kind of hope they make a cameo and they're the reason Thanos dies. Like they
can't do that. It's
Why
going to
not?
be some crazy, big, meaningful death blow with, like, Cap's broken body,
gotta
all
remember, these are still
sad
comics.
and busted
I think they're
with
going to
his
bring Phil
scruffy
from Modern
beard.
Family back from Incredible Hulk. Too.
I'm okay with that.
Oh,
Yeah, because
Yeah,
he was in there.
Oh,
Ty
yeah,
Burrell.
he was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he was playing Samson.
Samson. Yeah. So, I mean, it would make sense. You could do that. I still want to bring the leader back. I think that would be a really good Avengers villain.
Yeah, Tim Blake Nelson's a good actor.
Yep.
Wait, the leader.
It's Tim Blake Kimmy Schmidt's dad, like Sarah translation. Kimmy Schmidt's dad.
Okay.
He was in the Incredible Hulk movie as the villain.
Oh,
and then he got his head
yeah.
busted, and some of the gamma blood got in his head. He's supposed to become the leader.
Right. That's right. Wasn't he? No, wait. Which one was Data? Wasn't Data in one of them, or am I thinking of Independence Day? Because I know.
Think you're Independence Day.
That's fine.
Yeah, he
Okay. Well,
was-
attention, Marvel. Put Data in one of your movies in the future, please.
Sure, they'll get right on that one.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
this
Because
recent
they listen.
episode.
They're all tuned in right now. They're like, oh, good notes.
Okay.
Hot guy, Data. We're on it.
So I have got 9 movies so far, it looks like. Blues Brothers Moon, Baby Driver, Be Kind Rewind, Bubba Hotep, Emperor's New Groove, Robot Frank Serenity, That Thing You Do. So, yep, so that's 9. I need 1. Oh, no, I need 4 more. Jeez, I forgot how many more I have.
Oh, goodness.
I keep forgetting that, because we did last week, we did the 5, just pick 5 so we can kind of talk about it and stuff. Kind of forgot that I had so many. Sarah, we're going to start on your list since you're here. I know you weren't prepared for it, but that was kind of the whole point of this episode and bringing Patrick and Whitney
I
in.
haven't
so,
even decided a theme.
it doesn't. You can change the
No,
theme every
it
day if you want.
matters.
Well,
no,
then did you not do show prep?
no, I didn't do show prep, obviously. Do I look prepared?
Whitney, should we just leave?
I know. I'm sorry. Are we making this awkward for you?
Awkward.
well,
Mom and Dad are fighting.
She's not even prepared.
I know. I'm not prepared.
I'm just going to go back to petting their cats.
Neil was kind enough to tell me Data's real name is Brent
Brent
Spiner.
Spiner, yeah.
And he is absolutely correct there. I'd have to say that the list that I have on Pop Show is probably my favorites. So if we're going
Okay.
for favorites, what is that? Wally, Princess Bride, Goodfellas, Shawshank.
Yeah, let me pull it up here.
There's another one.
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
That's right. Breakfast
Yep,
at
there we
Tiffany's.
go. So that's
Those are solid choices.
so yeah. That can be your first 5.
Yeah, those are my first 5 for sure. But, there's so many, movies that I just really love and appreciate that, for like so many different reasons, but it's hard to name them because I have to go back to that point in my life when they met
Yeah.
I don't know. That's tough.
So what was your favorite movie when you were in high school?
A League of Their Own.
Well, there
You
go.
could make your shelf autobiographical.
I could. So let's see. That would put me. Okay. Some of the stuff is inappropriate.
What was the first movie you remember seeing in a theater?
Well, the first movie I ever saw let's see, that I remember seeing. I don't know. That's hard.
I think Who Framed Roger Rabbit was the first one I remember seeing.
I know that I saw more like younger, probably 101 Dalmatians, and I was really young, because I'm pretty sure that came out before we were born.
101 Dalmatians, yeah.
But it
In the 60s, I
yeah,
believe.
but it replayed, and my dad took me to it. Let's see, if it was autobiographical though, I'd have to go with The Little Mermaid because my poor father took me to that movie so many times that he knew all the words to all the songs. And then honestly, Forrest Gump would probably be on the list too, because that was a movie that you either loved or you hated, and that was another one that was really big for my dad because he lived through all of those eras, and I was probably old enough to understand it, but still a little bit inappropriate to take me to the movie. But he did because he wanted to give me this context, and he felt like that was so important to share that with me. So that I think would be a good one to put on my shelf because
I remember being in a theater seeing Forrest Gump as a kid. It was a packed theater, had just come out, and there were some old people near me. And during the Vietnam scene, Forrest Gump says, like, it started raining, and it rained for 4 months. And this old guy nearby was just like, yep. I was like, oh, this guy was there.
yeah. And then I went through this whole thing when I had first moved to Atlanta and didn't know anybody yet, and I was trying to, fill my days. I read a lot of books that were based on movies that I love. So The Virgin Suicides would probably be on there.
Okay.
And I read the book, and there were some subtle differences, but then I read Forrest Gump, and it was like, I mean, it was a great novel, and I love the story, but had nothing to do with the movie, like except for shrimp, kind of,
Yeah.
But like they were so different. So yeah, and the movies play a lot or the books play a lot into it too. That's why Princess Bride is on there, because it is my favorite movie and my favorite book. And they are alike and different in very critical ways. And I saw the movie first, and the reason why I love the book so much is because the movie was perfectly cast. So I could see it all. And it just took everything I loved about the movie and like grew it, as opposed to most movies which conflict with the book
Well, there you have the book author writing the
Yep,
screenplay as well.
exactly.
He's a very notable screenwriter. And I think a lot of times when that happens, you get excellent adaptations because they're not afraid to recontextualize things and it still feels like it's of one voice.
Yeah, or you get something really, really long like Gone Girl because she didn't want to cut anything.
Yeah.
But I hated Gone Girl.
Did you hate it?
I hated the book. I hated the movie.
Did you read any of
Really?
the rest of her books? Probably not, since you hated it.
Did she do Girl on the Train too?
No.
Was that someone else? I also hated that.
Did you? I
Sorry.
I
The movies were, I liked them, both of those movies better than I liked the books. But that's not really saying much because I hated the stories.
don't like being titillated.
I didn't find it titillating at all.
There was no titillation there.
No. And the whole thing in Gone Girl, the husband, Ben Affleck's character, there's nothing likable about him.
Oh, no, you hate them
You're supposed to
all.
hate
Yeah.
him. He's a horrible person, and you don't really feel sorry for him. And you kind of do a little bit in the movie. I think I kind of did like that they kind of, they made it somewhat sympathetic because I couldn't actually tell in the book, was I supposed to feel sorry for this guy because he was an asshole and I hated him?
Yeah. Well,
Sorry, I just cursed on your podcast. I
Yeah,
don't know if
it's all-
that's allowed.
you're totally allowed
not
to
the
curse.
first. Won't be the last. Well, this is sort of
And
a.
same thing with Girl on the Train. I just hated her character. I never felt sorry for her. Didn't know what the hell was redeeming about her. And they tried to make it, make her a little bit more human, I guess, in the movie. And I love Emily Blunt, but I just, it's not good.
Yeah, that's a really interesting device when it's done either in film or in fiction, where there's just not a likable character. You know where I also saw that? Do you remember several years ago, and it was the year that Hugh Jackman hosted the Oscars because he did it in a song, The Reader? And yeah, so I hadn't seen the movie, but I was, again, reading books that the movies were based on. And I read the book, or no, I listened to it. I was on a road trip because I lived in Georgia and I was coming back to Virginia for a visit. And I listened to the book. And when it was over, I just was so depressed and hated everybody in it. And the whole thing was awful. And I thought, I mean, the book wasn't awful, but all the characters were just terrible people, like Nazi level terrible. And
they were Nazis
they were
in
not,
that
well,
movie.
that's because they were Nazis. But like, I remember
Just
thinking,
because they wanted to make America great again.
oh, right. But like, I remember thinking when I finished the book, I was like, oh, there's no way I'm going to spend 2 hours on this movie. There's just, I mean, I don't care if it was nominated. I hate everybody.
He was nominated instead of Wall-E and instead of The Dark Knight. That was pretty much the reason
That
why
was
they.
the year?
That was the year.
That was the year?
And that was the last year. They only had 5 Best Picture nominees.
Well, it
'cause-
will
Well,
never
now
be
I
as
hate
bad
it
as
already.
2005. 2005 is the year that lives in infamy for me. It was the year Crash won.
Oh, yeah, I
Over
remember that.
Capote, over Good Night and Good Luck, over Brokeback Mountain. Hell, even over Munich.
Oh, good night. and
I
good luck.
still have not gotten over that year.
Oh, understandably so. I mean, can we really trust the award stuff anymore?
No, that's a
That's
tough
kind of-
one. Now we're all depressed.
Oh, back to happy things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have? I
I
started.
should put the Lego movie on my list.
Everything is awesome.
Let's cheer up and talk about Grave of the Fireflies.
Aw.
Let's talk about the Futurama dog episode.
Aww.
Or that episode of The Office that you never rewatch. You've only seen it once.
Oh, okay, but that's because of cringing. That's
Wait,
not
which episode of The Office? We're big Office fans.
Scott's Tots.
Yeah,
I have watched
uncomfortable.
The Office, the whole series, probably 5 times. I have watched Scott's Tots once because it's
Yeah,
I-
that was a really, really rough one.
it's like it's also the reason why I haven't finished The Marvelous Miss Maisel, because when no, great
love
series, but I
Marvelous
just
Miss
know
Maisel.
based on the second to last episode that the last episode is going to be really, really cringy. And I think I'm just too empathetic of a viewer to like, I can't watch characters that I love and I'm invested in to like steer themselves into train wrecks, like hence Scott's Tots. Which Neil, I think
you'll be a little bit surprised.
with Miss Maisel, I
Yes,
should just power through
You
it.
should power through it.
Okay.
It's not a Scott's Tots situation.
Oh God, Scott's Tots. Yeah, that one's a tough one.
All right. Well, look, you've got 9 on your list now too, so you're right up there with me. So
Add
we've
Lego
added-
movie.
Lego movie.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
that'll be 10.
So see, you still need 3 more.
Well, that is asking a lot.
So, if I could type tonight, I started putting together a list based off of the fan suggestions. Vanessa had mentioned Batteries Not Included. Kevin had mentioned last week American Werewolf in London and Sunshine. I don't have Alex's list handy, but I know I want to grab some from his because Alex is a longtime listener and follower.
Yeah, he's a cinephile too.
A huge cinephile, like naming foreign films that were like, he named 5 of the movies. I think we had seen Avatar, and that was it.
Yeah. Put down Cavalry too. That's what Daniel
And,
suggested.
Okay.
Legally Blonde 8.
Oh, I'll take the first one though. I tell you, at least once a week I
Did
say.
you come to Galentine's Day at the
I didn't.
cinema?
I had other plans, but at least once a week I'll text my best friend and say I'm going to the gym because exercise gives you endorphins and endorphins make you happy and happy people don't kill their husbands. Like,
shoot their husbands.
yeah, they just don't.
Neil is adding Tin Men.
Oh
Excuse
yeah,
me,
Tin
to,
Man's a good movie.
to the list. So
have not
Early,
seen
I think that's Barry
I haven't
Levinson film.
I haven't seen it either, actually. So
We do not have a section for Barry Levinson, do
And
we?
it has the recently passed away John Mahoney in it. We don't have a Barry Levinson section because Barry Levinson has been making some crap lately.
Until he starts making better stuff, he gets no section. So, all right, let's see. Have you seen anything else in the comments?
I'm looking back to some of our old comments from a couple of weeks ago. Of course, there's everything Wes Anderson ever made, but
Yeah.
my friend Wes says Joe Dirt. Joe Dirt 5 times.
No, I'm gonna veto that one.
I think Joe Dirt is actually one of those underappreciated films.
Just
It has some really fantastic one-liners in it.
Oh, here's Alex's list.
I haven't seen it in years.
Here's Alex's 5. La Ventura, 1960. Woodstock, 1970. Before Sunrise, 1995.
One of
Which
my favorites.
I like Before Sunrise a lot.
Well, let's add it to the list.
I got all the way through it, though, and realized they did nothing but talk through the whole movie. But, like, I finished it, and I enjoyed it, and I had this amazing experience with it. And then I got to the end of it, and I was like, wow, that was so fulfilling. All they did was talk. Like, it was a weird moment for me.
You know, another movie like that, Man from Earth. I think it's Man from Earth, where they're all just kind of sitting there in the cabin talking, and he's supposed to be like this guy who lived from like, it's basically centered around this one guy, and they're all talking, and he proposes this theory to his fellow colleagues that what if he was a caveman and had somehow with his biology he'd managed to live all the way from a caveman to modern day, like the early 2000s, I think is when this movie came out, maybe late 2000s or early 2010s. I saw it on Netflix years ago, and all they did was talk about
That's
it.
the name we do not speak of.
Hold on.
Oh, the N-word.
Yes.
Oh.
Thou shall not be named.
It did not.
The
Should I do a
platform.
7-second delay on that?
No, I didn't. No, I had. I don't know why I didn't. I did not. Here we go.
Oh, no.
But, no, see, this is what happens.
He's
when,
got a magic button box that makes
And it's-
noises come out.
There we go. It plays little drops. It's the box was supposed to do that, but it didn't. It did not. So I don't know what happened. Anyways, but yes.
My testes just shuffled inside my body.
I don't blame you. We should replace it with the Law and
We're
Order
leaving.
thing.
With the Law and Order one, I am going
I'm
to
taking your cats with me.
Good luck taking the one. She's a bit of a bitch.
Yeah, you take the orange one, though. He won't even notice
No,
for like
he
a day.
But you know, Before Sunrise is one of my absolute favorite movies.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's romantically like where I'm at. Like when I was young and still single, it was like every girl I dated, I was like, at a certain point, I have to show her this movie to see if we kind of like connect on that kind of level.
Was that your test?
That is my
Your compatibility test?
Yeah. There it is.
That's
right there.
actually a really good one. If you've got, I mean, I don't know. Do you have any tests? Have you tested me when I was unaware? I mean, we watched all the Marvel movies right off the bat, so I feel like
Yes, I mean Star Wars. Star Wars is a pretty good one to gauge, especially as a dude trying to test a woman.
I think, let's see, and we watched, I mean, we watched a lot of stuff early on. We watched Firefly, we watched Bob's Burgers, we got,
Bob's Burgers are both kind of
Bob's Burgers, we both
watched
we
together.
got through Doctor Who, but then we stalled.
Studio 60. almost
Studio
like-
60 was a good one. Have you guys seen Studio 60?
Back when it was playing new episodes.
Yeah. Back when I was going up against 30 Rock.
Yeah.
I'd say that's kind of one thing. I'm trying to think of like a TV show because, you know, I was planning for like 10, so I have a few more that I can kind
Did
of
you guys
throw in.
find any series or anything where there were just a divide you guys couldn't bridge?
I don't think so. We have very similar tastes.
He never watched The Office with me.
I watched the first few episodes years ago.
I mean,
I'm
you love
telling-
Scott's Tots, but other than that, you can't get into it.
I haven't seen Scott's Tots. I just know it's hers.
Yeah, he's heard me talk
her
a lot
trigger.
about Scott's Tots.
My husband has an issue with watching a lot of shows like that. Like he'll watch some episodes of The Office, but some he can't. That really awkward situational humor, Curb Your Enthusiasm. Like it makes him like physically uncomfortable. Like he has to leave the room.
Yeah.
So he has a hard time getting through some of.
I had that issue with the British version and season 1 of The Office. Like those first few episodes were that way, and then they
That's-
course corrected.
Yeah,
Kinda
they did.
softened
They
it.
really
And that's the
did.
thing. I don't think I gave The Office enough time. Similar with Doctor Who and Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec and Doctor Who I eventually got back to. Don't get me wrong, but Office I never just got back to. Those first few episodes were sluggish. I'm like, why is everyone raving about this? So I dropped it.
Yeah,
Did
season
this-
2 is significantly different. It's basically a 180
And
from
I
what
think,
they
like,
did in the
seasons
first
2, 3,
season.
and 4, like that's about as good.
So
Yeah.
could I start with season 2 of The Office then and be okay?
Sure you
Yes.
could, yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
because
it
that's kind of
doesn't
what I
take-
did with her with Parks and Rec. I just
Yeah.
said, forget the first season. Let's just start with season 2.
Okay, we
here,
have
here
to
are the
do that
characters
now.
you need to
That's
know.
happening.
So
You know what we really bonded over was Arrested Development.
Yes.
And that is
I think my husband and I really bonded over that one too.
my dog is named Maybe.
I was,
Yeah.
when you said that, I was like, oh, I wonder if it's a reference.
Yeah, people always they either ask, "Is your dog named after Arrested Development?" or "Why did you name your dog Maybe?" And if they ask the second question, I know they haven't seen Arrested Development, and then I always tell them, "Maybe I'll get a dog," and then they say, "Oh, okay," because there's really no point in explaining it if you haven't seen Arrested Development. But yeah, that would be probably one for my shelf.
speaking of Arrested Development?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll add it. Matt is chiming in there and saying, "Better Off Ted." I heard good things about it. I just never got around to watching that.
That
one.
has
Yeah, same
Portia
here.
de Rossi from.
Okay.
It does have Portia de Rossi in it. Yeah.
Let's see. There we go. Season 1 on your list.
Yep. And
Solid
Better
as
Off
a
Ted,
rock.
available for rental at Naro Video.
Mission accomplished.
Nice. Nice reference there, Neil. We appreciate the Arrested Development humor around here.
All I can think of when he says that though is when they're playing the giant rock paper scissor for when they're doing the home opening.
That's right. Rock always beats scissors. Oh no, we were talking about going to Costco to get one of those
safe
a
for
safe.
personal information and stuff.
So I was calling it. We need to get a fire safe. Save the women and children. And I probably did that for probably 5 days straight, and it was always funny.
I usually start singing Amazing Grace after I hear fire sale. Yeah, basically.
On the floor.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I've referenced Never Nudes before too, but I don't remember the context outside of Arrested Development.
Oh man, we are getting into some deep
Yeah.
cuts tonight.
All right, now you've actually got more on your list than I do, so
Haha,
I need to bring
victory.
some up here. I don't know. See, I kind of want to throw this one on here. First season of Animaniacs, or the first volume.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
We have it.
Yeah, I mean, I would expect you guys to have it, but
Of
I
course.
don't know like how many people have actually. I mean, our age have grown up and seen it, but I don't know. Do you guys get younger kids in there? Do you guys get older people in there that might have kind of been before
What
or
you
after?
get are parents our age renting that series for their kids.
Okay, then I'm gonna throw it up
Nice.
there then.
My daughter will see it, in a couple years.
Yeah,
And I think actually Animaniacs is one that still I can still pop on Animaniacs and enjoy the hell out of it.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
wow.
same
We
here.
played it
I mean, when it
before.
first came out, I remember my brother was in college and was watching it like crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, because I remember coming home and watching it right after school.
Oh, my
every
dad
day.
loved it.
Yeah.
I still remember the song, most of it.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
one? Oh, the theme
It's
song
time for
Yeah.
Animaniacs.
Add Clerks the animated series on
to
mine.
I
yours.
love the animated clip.
Yes, it's so good.
I was just referencing the deadly Mutaba virus the other day.
I'm so glad Kevin Smith didn't die.
Oh,
That was
right.
so
I
I was
know.
I was legitimately scared when I don't know. He posted the whole thing on Instagram.
Yeah.
But it was like, okay, he's good. He
yeah,
posted
Yeah.
that himself.
No, yeah, he's
Good little
okay,
wake
yeah.
up call for sure.
I know that would have been bad.
Okay.
Kevin Smith has done some profound work in my life.
Yeah, I actually haven't checked. Did they have a new episode of Hollywood Babylon
Yeah,
this
they've
weekend?
done one since then.
Okay.
Well, with Clerks the animated series, your shelf is done, Sarah.
But I still haven't decided if that's my theme. That's my theme if the theme is me.
Okay. Well,
But
I don't see
I mean, I might go completely. I mean, I don't know. Depending on what your theme going to be like you? I mean,
s-
and
I
who
don't see
knows
wh-
what kind of crazy stuff Travis will
mean-
come up with.
I don't see why not. I mean, I've got 10 so far, and I mean, they're all pretty much me. I mean, they can still be underappreciated movies and still be me.
Yeah, but no one is
So-
going to say Shawshank is underappreciated.
No, but it's still you.
It's
It's your
me.
glue movie.
It is a glue movie. Are you guys familiar with the term glue movie?
I'm not familiar with the term glue.
Back when everyone still had cable, and
Oh, I think I know.
and
what this
people
is.
would
Yeah.
channel surf, and if they happen to stop on a movie and you don't continue surfing, it's a
Oh,
glue
like
movie.
Braveheart.
Yeah,
I've heard
you
that
could-
referred to as the Shawshank effect.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Well,
that
Shawshank
makes
is
sense.
definitely one of them.
That's
There's
a great term.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard that, but yes, Braveheart. Anytime that's on, it could be 2 minutes into that
Yeah.
3-hour movie. I'm
oh
committed.
no, yeah, you're into it.
And
Yeah.
Forrest Gump.
There's a lot of movies that are like that. Field of Dreams is one for me too, where you could just pick up at any point
Yeah.
and watch it from then on, even if it's the last 5 minutes, even if it's the first 5 minutes. Now, with TV consumption going the way it is, glue movies aren't really a thing anymore. You can't accidentally stumble upon Shawshank, really.
Well, I mean, you can still, it can
mean-
still pop up and, list of certain
I
things that
guess
shall not
if
be
you're
named.
if you're searching any platforms that we don't discuss, I guess it could like recommend it for you or something. But I honestly don't think those algorithms are that smart.
Well, with people having all these streaming services or coming to a video store, it's all about the selection. So you're physically making the choice to view something. Like you're not having that channel surfing effect.
Right.
And as you said, so many people have cut the cord with cable. We don't have cable in my house.
No, I can't remember the last time I had cable, honestly.
When you have access to 43,000 films, it's
You
kinda
don't
Yeah,
need
you really don't
cable.
need it.
Yeah, you really don't.
needless.
So Neil chimed in with
Except
his
HBO because
I
I
go
have to
one
have
further.
Game
I
of
don't,
Thrones.
I don't have a subscription to any
Westworld.
streaming service just because I haven't really needed it. I mean, there are certain series on there, just like any other TV network, that would be nice to see sooner. But I haven't really had the need.
No,
So-
that makes sense.
Well, we split them, and the trailer for that Amy Schumer Goldie Hawn movie pushed me over the edge.
They what was it? Not abducted.
Snatched.
Snatched.
Do we have the Tina moan
yeah,
ready?
we have the Tina moan. I don't know if it's
or
ready,
or
but
the Sideshow Bob, moan where he like steps on all the rigs.
Yes. The Cape Fear episode.
That's how
I love that.
That's how I feel about Snatched, because that trailer came on every break on Hulu and I snapped and was like, no more, and upgraded to commercial free Hulu. So like, because of that trailer, like I couldn't hear Amy Schumer say it was mostly bread another time. Like I didn't have a particularly high opinion of her before. After all those, I would not spit on her if she was on fire. She's probably a perfectly nice person. Congratulations on a recent wedding. I want nothing to do with her. So,
wow,
She got
harsh.
married.
she did. She
Yeah, she had
got
like
married.
some ceremony or something, secret ceremony, and then posted about it after the fact. So,
I saw the 50
Congratulations,
Shades.
Amy Schumer.
yep.
I saw the 50 Shades Free trailer so much that I began to question whether movies should still be a thing at this point.
Was
I
that
don't
the third
blame
one?
you there.
That's the
yeah.
third
Yeah,
one.
the
Third one?
third and final.
I
For
drank-
now, until they do a spin-off.
Well, they did. I'm way too knowledgeable about this.
Please no.
They did a book from Christian Grey's point of view called
God.
something. I don't remember, but they might do a movie for him too.
Let's
I will
not say we
admit,
did.
I drank a bottle of wine and watched the first one.
So did
So
I.
did he. And then he
I'd read the first book because a little bit backstory. I never read or saw any of the Harry Potter movies when they were current.
Neither did
I kind of did like this purposeful pushback against it because I was like, I'm not going to be involved in all of that. Huge mistake. Huge. It's one of my biggest regrets.
was that a Pretty Woman reference? Because I liked it.
big mistake?
I was trying
Huge.
to place that.
So yes, I really regret not getting on the Harry Potter train to Hogwarts and all that, and really being a part of that when they were coming out. And so everyone was talking about the 50 Shades thing. So I read the book, and it was awful. And it sounds like I hate all books that I read, and that's not true. But
I
that
read
was
the Bible, the worst. The
War
dictionary
and Peace.
overrated.
Ridiculous.
But it was so bad, and I just could not wrap my mind around it. And I was like, well, surely the movie's going to be somewhat more entertaining. Maybe it'll be funny. That wasn't the case either. And I I drank this bottle of wine to get myself through it. I'm glad. I don't think I could have done it sober.
Yeah.
We watched, let's see, I've read all 3 books. And
I'm sorry if that was an insult.
No, it wasn't.
It's not. No.
It's way better than the glare I gave her.
I
Don't
will
worry.
say, okay, so
I
I
had
made
to drink a bottle of bleach first.
I made him watch
Basically.
the first movie.
Bleach is the new wine.
He drank and live tweeted it.
not
It was
far
pretty
off. Tide
awesome.
Pods.
I hadn't seen the second one. And then now my guilty pleasure girlfriends movie girlfriends are down in Atlanta. So I went and had a girls' weekend with them and watched the second one. And I still haven't seen the third one because that one just came out in February. And it's like, the books are really poorly written. They absolutely are. But I did the same thing with Harry Potter. I absolutely did. I did not read them when they first came out because I wanted to wait for all of them to come out. And then I didn't do it because it represented this time commitment. And I just was never at a stage in my life where I could invest myself and like fall in love and like.
Well, to be fair, I bought all the hardcovers for the books.
And then I downloaded them all on Audible.
yeah,
which
basically
made him give me that face a lot. But I listened to them all on Audible, and it took me a couple months, and I was totally obsessed with them. And then we watched the movies, and because I listened to them, and the voice actor who read them was like amazing.
Who's the actor?
I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I'll have to look it up. But he did the voice acting for the book and was amazing and did everything so well. But then I watched the movies. And I was correcting the pronunciation on all of them and was like, where's Peeves? Like, I was like yelling. And the movies are great on their own, in their own right.
Are they?
Where's Harry Potter?
Oh, no. I have a special appreciation for the movies, but I've read the book series twice now.
Yeah.
And I didn't even read them till I was like 25 or 26. Like, it was in my mid-20s. Like, the
Jim
last...
Dale is the actor.
I don't know him.
Oh, my gosh. His voice is amazing.
But I do regret that. Harry Potter is wonderful, and I am really excited to go to Harry Potter World and get sorted. Although I am Hufflepuff forever.
Ravenclaw.
But
Yeah, we're both Ravenclaw.
I still
Death
want to
Eater.
do the Sorting Hat and get my wand.
You're a Death Eater? Fair
You
enough.
would be. You
Yeah.
would be Death Eater.
Did like the robe and everything. I love
And Saturday, Katie and I, in honor of St. Patrick's Day, played Harry Potter movies all day.
Nice.
It was
I
very
approve.
fun.
I approve.
How was that in honor of St. Patrick's Day?
I mean, it's not.
Okay. All right.
But-
We just decided today's a Harry Potter day.
I'll allow it. Vanessa agrees. Yeah, horrible writing. But, I mean, that's always been true. It always goes back to script. It always goes back to source material. Man, I could do a whole shelf of movies that's terrible writing.
I just realized something you don't have on your list that you could.
What?
Working Girl.
Working Girl.
That is such a classic. You don't hear a lot of people
Yes.
talk about it these
That's-
days.
yeah.
Working Girl's a glue
But
movie
it's
for me.
great.
All the talk of glue movies reminded me that's
Yeah,
one of the
Working
ones
Girl. I've made you watch Working Girl more than once. Or
Yeah.
like half the time I'll be upstairs folding laundry and he'll hear like
Harrison Ford or Sigourney Weaver.
that Carly Simon song that they play like 17 times throughout the movie in various forms.
Yep.
Yep.
So, but what's going to be replaced on your list?
Oh man.
Got your list up here. Wall-E, Princess Brides, Shawshank. Shawshank. If I could speak. Goodfellas, Breakfast at Tiffany's, League of Their Own, Little Mermaid, Forrest Gump, Virgin Suicides, Lego Movie, Legally Blonde, Arrested Development Season 1, and Clerks, the animated series.
All right, I think Shawshank will have to
Okay.
go. I love it, but it needs no accolades from me.
Okay.
So Working Girl. It feels weird replacing Shawshank with Working Girl. Very
But
different.
there it is.
Very different films, but put Shawshank back on there. I can't take it.
Over Working Girl?
Just add it.
Just add it.
I
You're,
need
be
it.
a rebel and have
I need
14
them,
movies
I
on
need
there.
them both. I need them.
Oh, so I can't. I typed today.
Okay.
So.
All right. Shawshank is back on the list.
We can see
Okay.
what we can do to try and fit it.
I mean-
I'm looking like Wally's kind of a thin box, but Clerks Animated is kind of a thick box.
I know. It's gonna.
Clerks is, unless you put it facing out.
Sorry.
Arrested Development will take up a little more space.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I can't have. I can't.
It's gonna.
I can't kill a darling right now.
Well, you've got it. You can work on it. You've got your full list. I still don't have my full list. I'm thinking about I need to throw like something Muppets up there, either Muppets season 2 or 3, because I know we don't have 4 or 5 out, and we got any
They
one
never
of the.
complete. Yeah, they never came out with the
No,
complete series.
I don't know. I don't know if it was a licensing thing or a sales thing, because I think once you got into some of the music and stuff,
Oh, Neil has a good question.
Ooh.
If you could pick only one Monty Python movie, which one is the right answer?
Holy Grail. I feel like it's got to be Holy Grail.
Okay, here's my problem with
Blue. No, yellow.
My thing with Monty Python is I had a friend in middle school who was obsessed with Monty Python, and we watched. They did it like it was one of their sketch shows, maybe, or maybe it was a stage performance that was taped. I can't remember. There was a Christmas tree came on stage at one point, like someone fell over in a very British slapstick style, and a Christmas tree walked on stage and like dragged the guy off. And for whatever reason, that was the funniest thing in the world to my little 7th grade brain, and I just lost it because of this like walking Christmas tree came and like dragged a person off the stage. And I have never been able to find that one.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever
So
seen that.
weird, obscure Monty Python is my answer. Take that, Naro.
I'm trying to. Well, I mean, I've got the entire collection here. If you want,
I know it's got to be on there somewhere.
Might be something like live at the Hollywood Bowl or something.
Yeah,
You'll probably dig it.
I think it was a stage performance that was taped, and I would come up with something weird and like random like that. But the sketches that they did too, with like the Ministry of Funny Walks and stuff like. I mean, like
Spanish Inquisition and the Dead Parrot.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
no
right.
one expects the
Well,
Spanish Inquisition.
And that's the Neil just mentioned.
Yeah,
and now for something completely different,
yeah.
has all that collection.
Oh, that's
of
the
all
one where they like reshot him on film.
Yeah,
And they did exactly. They
Yeah.
went from Dead Parrot right into Lumberjack
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it tied in a
Oh,
little
yeah,
better.
that's probably-
So,
Yeah.
I mean, he's not wrong. If you're looking just for purely the skits,
Yeah.
that
Although,
would
honestly,
probably
I wasn't
be.
a fan of that. I felt like the oxygen was taken out of the original versions, like them redoing it. I'm much more entertained by the original sketches as they were within their episodes.
Just kind of singular.
Yeah.
even
one
though
that's-
it's their greatest hits.
No, I can see that. No, that
Yeah.
makes sense. And but when you say movie, I'm thinking,
Yeah.
while I love, and now for something completely different, I've got it on my own personal stuff, which reminds me, let me show you guys our deep, it's not 44,000, but,
Yeah.
it's a nice little collection I've completed over the years.
Oh, isn't it quaint?
Yeah.
No, it's adorable.
It's like maybe like a little space compared to y'all's guys.
A smidgen.
Yeah. But it's when he says movie, I'm thinking like a long cohesive story, Life of Brian.
well, that's what
and
he said. Neil saying Life of Brian, which is an excellent pick.
It is. And all of them are good. I
try to play Life of Brian whenever I'm working on Easter.
I'll pick
Appropriate.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
I like
Which is
it.
April
like,
Fool's Day this
Kids,
year.
don't look at the
Yes.
screen at this part where he's opening the window.
I think Holy Grail just has to be my favorite.
Holy Grail's the biggest catch-all. I
Yeah.
mean, I grew up with it in high school, so that's probably why I'd have to pick it.
It's one of the first movies I ever saw at the Naro. My brother was like, I'm going to take you to a double feature. Adventures of Baron Munchausen was just opening, and it was a double feature at the Naro with Monty Python and the Holy Grail. But I didn't understand that it was going to be a comedy. I thought it was just going to be like some King Arthur boring thing. I was like, I don't
Yeah.
want to see this. And like 5 minutes in the movie, I'm like, this is great.
They had all the caption of the story at the very
Yes.
beginning. Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Do you know what movie did that to me? This is like one of those weird pivots, but the movie where you'd think it's something else, then you go in and it's like, that was delightful. Big Fish did that to me.
see
Tim
that.
Burton.
Yeah.
With I didn't know what to expect going into it, and I was like, this is really cool. It
And
totally surprised me.
That's such a charming film.
Yeah.
Blues Brothers was actually like that for me.
Really?
My mom had rented it for a buddy of me, or for me in high school, and it was on VHS, big old block, and the cover of it was just Jake and Elwood on the front in their suits. And I was like, what is this? Two guys in suits. This looks boring, whatever. And then I had a buddy of mine, crash on for the weekend, and we're like, all right, we got nothing else to do. Let's throw this VHS tape in. And it was, we were kind of watching, all right, two guys hanging out. And then it was when they were with the nun, and Jake goes, well, I guess you're really up shit creek. And she hits him. She goes, what'd you just say? I was like, please repeat the line. Please repeat. And then he repeats it. I was like, all right, new favorite movie.
Yeah.
We just became best friends. So... let's see here. What else have we
Oh
got?
yeah, Neil mentions The Office when Pam watches 28 Days Later, thinking it was 28 days. That's true. Yeah, everyone has those.
starkly difference.
Yeah, no, big difference. And she was so scared, and she was like, I kept waiting for Sandra Bullock. Or that's right.
I watched Train to Busan over the weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and I was really surprised and blown away by that. And I don't want to give any spoilers, but it was very emotional, and it was
Really?
not what I was expecting from a zombie horror film.
What was it? Trained to what?
Train to Busan
Okay.
is like the highest grossing Korean film I think of all time now, but it's pretty recent, just in the past year or so.
Okay.
It came out, but it takes place almost entirely on a train, a moving train.
Cool.
Interesting. All right, I'm gonna check that out then.
You know what other movie did that to me? That was like, oh, this is delightful. Big Hero 6.
Yeah, Big Hero.
yeah.
Yeah, that was really
we
good.
rented it or got it on Netflix or something out of the
Who knows? I
the
probably bought
DVD
it.
format. And we hadn't when we watched it, and we were like, this is delightful. I like everything about this.
And that's how I felt about Lego Movie. Like when I heard a Lego Movie was coming out, I'm like, pfft.
This is gonna be cheesy marketing
Yeah,
crap.
I didn't like
yeah.
I remember Emperor's New Groove took me by such surprise.
Yeah,
Yes,
I saw it in
that was
theaters.
Bad
and I
wonderful.
loved
commercials.
it.
Like all the commercials were centered around that whole like we're about to go off the waterfall thing.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Which is like that joke doesn't work unless you see it within the context.
Right.
And then I see it, and it's like the most Looney Tunes a Disney movie has ever
It
been.
is absolutely.
Well, it was right around that same time they were doing Lilo and Stitch, which
Yeah.
also had a really good marketing campaign because they had Stitch reinserted into like all these like '90s Renaissance Disney's Renaissance
that had
movies,
better-
and that was really good too. So
They did a better job with that one.
Yeah, well, I
actually
think
not-
they
I'm
knew
gonna add
Emperor's
Lilo and-
New Groove was going to be one of their sleepers. And
Yeah.
it's funny how, and this is like a whole other thing, but Disney obviously marks some to be low liars, and some of them they push hard to be blockbusters. And occasionally one will be surprising. Like the Lion King was supposed to be a sleeper, and it wound up being this huge blockbuster. But like you could tell that Beauty and the Beast, the animated Beauty and the Beast, was going to be a big blockbuster. It's all you can tell by how they market it, and I think they were pushing harder on Lilo and Stitch, and it wound up being a bit of a sleeper. But now it's got this like huge, like cult following. So I don't know if you could ever say a Disney movie has a cult following, but as close as it can get.
no, I
think
I
that-
think you can.
Same
actually.
about Emperor's New Groove. I would say that
Yeah.
absolutely has a cult following.
I'd say you can even say some of the older Disney stuff like Sword in the Stone.
It's scary.
It's scary,
Yeah,
but
it
it's
is.
still got
It
like
is
it's got a
so
small
scary.
following. It's not you ask people what their favorite old timey Disney movie is. You hear Jungle Book, Snow White, some
Little
of the
Mermaid.
classic. Yeah, well that's not Little Mermaid's
Those are
90s Renaissance. I'm
good.
thinking
Oh,
like
yeah,
the
the
early
old
stuff,
stuff,
like
yeah.
the 50, 60, 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah, I
Hey,
got
does
you.
anyone ever talk about Oliver and Company?
I enjoyed
No.
Oliver
I
and
think
Company.
everyone's forgotten about Oliver.
Yeah, that
It
was
didn't
in
get
those years that just got dumped.
It was right before the big 90s Renaissance.
Yeah.
I
It was
think.
right before Little Mermaid, right?
Isn't
Yeah.
that sort of like
Isn't Oliver
Black
and Company
Cauldron
like
era?
88 or
Yeah.
89?
And then I think Little Mermaid was 88.
Little-
Okay, sorry, yeah.
And then Oliver and Company was like 85, 86.
Some of those
Okay.
old ones though were scary. Like Sword in
yeah.
the Stone was scary.
Fantasia.
Fantasia
Yes,
was scary.
the
Sleeping Beauty was
End of
scary.
Fantasia, the last sequence, what was it, Night on Bald Mountain?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
But
Huge
I
old
had to watch
demon.
it. I would always watch it.
Oh yeah.
Well,
But
because
I
then
was
you got
scared.
Sorcerer Mickey later.
Oh yeah. Well, Sorcerer Mickey made
Balanced
it
it
worth
all out.
Although
I
I,
don't-
mean, Yzma was scary beyond all reason. so-
She
She was scary beyond always. That's right.
Proof that dinosaurs once walked on Earth.
Squeaker, squeaking.
Squeak, squeak.
Do you know one of the guys? That was actually they originally started making Emperor's New Groove as like a more serious movie. It was going to be more the Lion King vein, and it wasn't working.
Really?
They got this guy Joe Ranft, who worked for Pixar as a storyboard guy. He was the guy who was the voice of the caterpillar in
Alice in Wonderland.
in Bug's Life.
Oh.
Okay.
Sorry, I reached back a little
He
further.
came in and totally retooled the film as
I thought
a
that was John
comedy.
whatever burger name.
John
Rat-
Ratzenberger.
Yeah, Ratzenberger.
No, Ratzenberger was the
Rolling-
little guy who was running the show that fired them all at the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. And Joe Ranft, I think, was also the voice of Squeaky, the
the squirrel.
penguin in Toy Story. What am I thinking of?
Oh, Wheezy.
Wheezy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wheezy.
Yeah, I
the
remember
penguin.
Wheezy.
Yeah.
My squeaker got broken. Vanessa points out The Nightmare Before Christmas and Oliver and Company both have a cult following, and she
Nightmare Before
knows
Christmas is good, yeah.
she's a big fan of Nightmare Before Christmas, which absolutely does.
My husband just saw it for the first time this holiday season.
Really?
And it
What do
was
you
like-
think?
He loved it, but he's 35. I don't know what he did his whole life before
I
that.
hadn't seen it up until like I was probably in my 20s. I don't know. It's just one of those movies that you can somehow miss.
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
It's weird.
It's
It-
like, it gets to Halloween, and you're like, "Is this a Christmas movie?" And that's Christmas, and you're like, "Is this a Halloween movie?" When am I
Yeah.
supposed to
Is
watch
Halloween.
a
Watch
holiday
both
bending.
holidays. Double dip.
But that's a
So-
great one. And yeah, and it's definitely creepy.
I think you guys created more problems than you solved. I mean, we're super glad to have you, but this list
We
is
now
not
have
getting.
82 movies per list.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna have to get some more
How many
shelves.
can you fit on the shelf if you don't face any out?
All right.
Can I stack them up? Can I stick them out like this and then stack them vertically?
Can you put a sunroof in the building?
Yeah, we'll like stick some on with tape and like draw arrows. Yeah, we can do that.
Can we come in and extend the shelf on our own and build it out? Physically build it out for
Yeah,
you
we'll
guys.
bring the
get some-
supplies. That'll be
yeah.
our donation.
So, all right. Well, I think that's gonna have to wrap it up for the list. What else we've got coming up besides we got our shelf, we got everyone else's shelves because you got all 12 months. Oops, sorry, I keep hitting the mic stand. All 12 months figured out for the rest of the year for the shelves. Is it single people, more couples? Like you mentioned, the parents in January. Is it
Wait, before we get into this, Matt comments, Strange Brew has the ultimate cult following.
It's a
Wait,
great one.
It's
It's
a
a
good
great
one.
one, and
You
it's
know what?
super weird because my mom randomly mentioned it and how much she loves that song about the Great White North.
what?
And
I'm
she
adding
made
Strange
me-
Brew on the list.
She made me
Thank
listen
you,
to
Matt.
it like 4 times. So, Matt, that is a good call.
Yep. And
Okay.
it's added to the
I
list.
just saw that one for the first time probably about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Rick
It's good.
Moranis, right?
Yep. And Dave.
Dave Thomas.
Thank you. I blanked. Sorry.
Nice.
So, but anyone else? Is it like friends of the Naro? Or just people you guys know by chance, or just complete strangers?
I remember there's someone who is super...
One is JT, who now works at the store.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So now he has a shelf. So he's actually, I think he gave it to someone that he knows, or his mom or something
Did
like
he see
that.
the Halloween month? Because I think he was all about getting Halloween at first.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
someone
Like
else has
October.
October
Okay.
now.
Yeah.
Someone else who also had really wanted it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jillian, the former manager of the video store, she's
Nice.
sponsored one of the months. I think sometime this summer.
Okay. Cool.
Let's see. I don't know, but
That's-
all 12 months are taken, and we're
Awesome.
very excited about that.
Yeah. No. You should be. That's really awesome. And you got Keys chiming in here, calling you out, Patrick.
Keys! Keys, you have to change your profile picture.
What's it of?
It's like Naked and Afraid, except he's naked and I'm afraid.
There
right.
you go.
He's also screaming at you.
Yeah, all caps.
Oh, whatever
Really
gets you
harsh.
through the day.
All right.
I love your Keys, but change your profile picture.
What have we got coming up at the Naro as far as events?
This Friday we have we're showing Tombstone. Val
Nice.
Kilmer,
Yeah.
like I was saying
So-
before.
Bring your huckleberry.
Bring your Huckleberry. There actually
Like
will
it.
be some folks from Push Comedy there to do an improvised Western set right
Okay.
before the show. It's going to be a really fun time.
Nice. What time is it at?
I love that. That is at 9:15.
Okay.
And that's a
9:15.
benefit for Naro Video. There's an O'Connor Brewing beer table there where you can get beer and
And wine.
Ooh.
Yeah. And all of that goes to
And
benefit
wine.
Naro
Yeah.
Video. So we encourage people to get pretty
Okay.
Doc Holiday'd up when they
Raise
And,
a-
but
raise a
but
glass.
it's cash only, so
Yes.
make sure that you bring cash for all adult beverages.
Okay.
Awesome.
Good to know.
Yep. Right now, it doesn't look like we'll have Narrow Minded in April, but in May, we're hoping to get one or two. We're talking a little bit. Last year, we did a Mystery Science Theater type thing, and we're
Nice.
hoping to get another one of those on the schedule.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, and also in May, there's the Give Local 757, which as a nonprofit will be participating in that.
With one
Nice.
of my favorite local nonprofits, right? You mentioned the Muse.
with the Muse, right?
Yeah.
So we're doing a lot of potential partnerships with the Muse. We're working with Michael Candlewall. He is on our board as well. He donates space at the Muse for us to have our board meetings. He's been an absolutely amazing and wonderful supporter and guide for us as we're going through this whole nonprofit,
Yeah, he's awesome.
thing. And we are looking to develop some series with the Muse, maybe a monthly series or a quarterly series or something to tie in with some of the classes that are taught there. But we're working on that right now, and hopefully we'll have an announcement about it early this summer.
Okay.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, I teach social media there. So if you ever want to do a showing of Ingrid Goes West,
We do have it.
Oh, I just saw that movie. That
Yeah,
was
so do we.
that
That
was
was
a bit
really
messed up.
good.
Or the Social Network.
oh yeah, or the social network. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
The
that'd be an
beginning
easy
of the
one.
end of my life.
Or the circle.
or we could, or the circle, or we could go
have
back
that
in
too.
time and do You've Got Mail.
Uh-huh.
You know what? That
We can
was
go back to
also
Shop Around
an
the Corner.
adorable film.
Aw, we could.
But it doesn't have the AOL sound.
That's true. You need the dial-up modem at the beginning with those weird blocky buildings that were like special effects.
My daughter is going to have no idea what any of that is.
Aw.
Well, show her Capitol Records, then she'll really won't know what those are either.
Empire Records.
Empire Records. Thank you.
Put Empire Records on my list. I'll
That's-
narrow it down later. Empire Records has to go on it.
That's the one I was trying to think
Damn
of,
the
not
man.
Capitol Records.
Original cut or director's cut?
What's with today?
There
I
you
thought
go.
seriously
Empire,
about
sure.
making that into a stage play in high school. I don't know why I didn't do that. I clearly never fulfilled my destiny. I should take a class at the Muse.
You could write it.
I could.
And then have it
Write the
performed.
screenplay.
That would be one I could Swede easily. I could Swede Empire Records probably in my sleep. In
Well,
fact, I
there's,
probably have.
I'm sure we could talk to Birdland Records and borrow their store or Skinny's.
Oh my gosh.
Whitney can probably get Guar in for you.
Nice.
Rest in peace, Odorous.
All right. So, Patrick, Whitney, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you so
Thank you
much for
guys.
having us.
Oh,
We had a
anytime.
blast. Please
What-
invite us back anytime.
You guys have an open invite.
Yeah,
Anytime
we-
you guys want to come on and hang out.
We do
so-
movie deep dives pretty often because, as you can see, our fans do like to join the conversation, and we're super glad to have you.
Hey, there's Heather Payne commenting.
Heather Payne.
Hi, Heather.
She's
Thanks
one of the
for
finest
joining us.
improvisers at the Push Comedy Theater.
Well, we're super glad to join and have the conversation.
For sure. And what can our listeners do to help out the Naro videos now that you guys are a nonprofit?
Yeah, and
To
where can
kinda-
they find you?
Well, of course,
Yes.
for starters, come into the video store to rent on Colley Avenue right next to Naro Cinema, where you can rent movies. You can pay for rentals up front to make them cheap and get them for long times. But also, you can go to narrowvideo.org. There you can see events. You can also donate there. As we're a nonprofit, anything you donate, that's tax deductible for you.
Yes.
That helps us survive, as we do intend to keep this video store going for years to come.
Yeah, I don't know if it was actually mentioned. We are the largest video store on the entire East Coast.
That's true.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And
something
we are
that's-
right here in Norfolk, Virginia.
That's something that's really special about Hampton Roads, that this area is
Yeah.
able to support something like that. You know, that this is a unique place for people who love movies and TV
Oh, yeah.
and the arts.
Yeah, and the deep cuts and all the cinephiles. I mean, everybody's got something there at the Naro for
Yeah.
sure. So, who's your competition on the West Coast, and where are they so we can hunt them down?
I don't know about competition per se. Like I was saying, like I love
we're
it.
all family
I
now.
love those places like Videodrome in Atlanta, and of course on the West Coast you have these huge places like Scarecrow and I think
Vidiots.
Video Vault and Vidiots. Yeah, you know, all those places that are still able to get by. You know, that's wonderful. I mean, not a lot of them. Not a lot of businesses were able to make it. I mean, Blockbuster spent years trying to put mom and pop businesses out of sale, and Blockbuster did not care at all about amassing a library. Like they wanted to essentially, like their whole like no late fees thing they did. That was all about keep it and buy it because we don't care if we have it, you know.
Right.
And that's why they went out of business and we stuck around. It's
Yeah.
because we wanted to hang on to all those movies.
Yeah, I mean, it got to the point where they only had new releases.
Yeah.
They would, they
Yeah.
got rid of all
Yeah.
the older inventory. And you know, I have a kid, and movies played a very big part of my life growing up. With my parents sitting me down and today we're going to watch Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I had a lot of my really good memories revolve around movies that I saw, and I want to give that to my daughter. And I don't want to have to be reliant on a streaming service that's very limited. I'm so thankful that we have Naro Video, and it's not just because I invested how many years? 13 years that I've been there off and on. It's such an incredible resource.
Yeah, I
And
mean, when I
we're
look
very lucky.
When I look at the list you guys have created, it's like I feel bad for. I mean, think about the people who don't live in this area who, if they wanted to watch all those movies, all the various places they'd have to go, all the money and subscriptions they'd have to do. It's
true.
And some of these movies they just wouldn't find. There's a lot of movies that you just cannot find online.
And every single one of those we have.
Yeah.
And we could tell you exactly what section they're in.
If not, I'll buy it and put it on the shelf, just like Miles
Naro
did.
Video, we have everything except Clone High. Until now, we have Clone High.
No,
Come
we
on
have
in.
it. Thank you, Miles.
Thank you.
See, and that's the thing, though. Like Sarah gives me crap because I still buy physical media because you can't
too.
the licenses. For example, Doctor Who might be on Netflix, but then it switched over to Amazon. If I didn't
Right.
have Amazon, I would be screwed. Or if I didn't have Netflix, I'd also be screwed. But and when you buy something from iTunes, I feel like I'm a broken record. You don't actually own the movie. You just own the right to play that digital file, and you can't
Right.
pass it on or anything like that. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff in hard copy that is still necessary.
These things are
I
only
have
getting
to
more
add another
fractured.
one to
I'm
my list.
completely with you. I still buy books. I still buy. My husband still buys vinyl and CDs.
Yep, same. I've got a
still-
whole
still
tower
buy
of CDs
DVD
behind
and
Patrick over
Blu-rays.
there.
I own
Yeah.
3,000 CDs in my house. I have a whole wall
Nice.
of CDs.
I love it.
It
It's
used to be
actually-
impressive, and
I'm in
now
good-
it's like an albatross. Now it's like I feel like I have to apologize for it.
We will
It's-
single-handedly
What's,
keep
what's the other one that
physical
you
media
wanted?
alive.
You were going to add?
Oh, Belle du Jour.
Ooh,
So,
nothing to
I
do.
haven't seen that one.
I haven't
so
seen that
Belle
either.
du Jour I saw in college, but when I was studying in Australia, and
I know exactly what the box looks like.
yeah,
too.
and I had a renewed interest in it because there was a show at the Virginia Museum of Fine Art in Richmond that was Yves Saint Laurent, and he designed some of the iconic costumes in that movie. And after I went to that show and saw these like beautiful garments, then I like, oh, I have to watch it again, and then I remembered how great it was. So I'll narrow it down later.
Okay. Well, you've got your list. I'm still going to add a few more. I might have to go to my closet and see what I've got.
I have spares for you
Apparently so.
if you would like them.
So we'll have to get Travis when he's feeling better to get his list together. And we've got a pretty solid fan list too. And we'll put a poll up to add to kind of round out this list on facebook.com/pop show. So whenever you guys are listening to this, if it's before, because you guys can listen to this on podcast now. If you guys are listening to this before, the last week in April? Is that when we're doing our fan shelf?
That is our fan shelf.
So the last week in April of 2018, we'll have a poll up on the Facebook page so everyone can kind of chime in. So, Sarah, where can they download the podcast if they haven't?
They can download Popped at iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or Podbean. And if you have already done that and you are listening to us on your podcast machine, you can watch us live every Tuesday starting at 8 p.m. Well, not every Tuesday. Most Tuesdays.
Most Tuesdays.
I know. We try to have a life. Sometimes we realize we weren't being able to watch our movies that we wanted to watch. So we decided that we have to invest in some sort of balance. But when we do have the show, it's pretty often and we have a lot of fun with it.
And now if we want to volunteer at the Naro, it's
I
probably take up a lot of our
know.
time
Tuesdays
too.
are new release day.
And
Oh, man.
That's how we just keep a constant shelf going, honestly, is we just, we
But
start volunteering
Just keep
there.
giving us lots of money.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking
We'll
of,
keep your shelf up all year.
speaking
make
of
that happen.
constant, though, you can always follow us.
Patrick's like, oh, really?
I think Whitney just lost her shelf.
Oh,
So, sorry, Whitney.
It's okay.
But
I
we're
gave
totally
it up when I
taken.
decided to have a family.
Aw. But, you're bringing...
DVDs are my family.
They're his family, too.
Aw. Patrick and I get along now. We're best friends.
Well, you can also follow us on facebook.com/pop show. We are always posting fun pop culture news. We'd love to talk to you about it. In fact, we frequently do. And I think that's it for this week.
That will be it. So,
Yeah.
Thank you again,
Yeah,
guys. We had
thanks
a
so much for
blast.
having us.
not a
And
problem. You
we'll
guys have an
definitely
open
you back.
invite. Anytime you guys want to come back, if you're like, hey, we're bored on Tuesday. Keith, Sarah, what are you guys doing? You guys doing an episode? Can we hang out? Be like, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
We got the gear
absolutely.
for it. We got the extra mics. Let's come on over. We won't have to have a topic, whatever.
And we're neighbors.
Exactly.
We
You're right down the
are.
street. Literally. Both of you guys are.
Awesome.
So, all right, guys. See you next week.
Good night, guys.
Bye. We gotta work on a coordinating our dance for next time.